There we go. Welcome everybody to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G, and as always, we're gonna dig into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get comfortable, get an ice cold beverage, get ready to join the conversation. Yes, we're gonna do the late night call-in thing once again, just like we always do. So what I'm gonna do is bring up the number. I'm gonna bring up the number because I want to see who's gonna call in today. I want to see if it's Derek Galloway. I want to see if Derek Galloway is gonna show up tonight. Shout out to Area 51 for standing in last week, and the Dogman UK. You can call in on the call-in chat line. That's 856-843-3444, or that's 856 The Dig. Had a nice after-hour show. So glad you guys came through over there, and we're gonna hang out here tonight just like we did last weekend, and we'll do for weekends to come, because I like to hear what's on your mind. I do a lot of talking during the shows and stuff, right? So sometimes I want to just kick back and hear what you guys got to say. You guys put a lot of stuff in the chats. I know where your mind is at. I can see where your head is at. You guys definitely talk some good stuff. So let me go ahead and just welcome everybody that's in here that came through and stopped by the call-in show at the Social Dig. We have Susie B, thanks for coming. Kira I Am, thanks for coming. To Mothman, thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming. Derek Galloway. I wonder if he's calling in today. Derek Galloway, I wonder if you're calling in today. Okay, I'm gonna make a song about that, man. You keep faking it, I'm gonna put the song out. Susie B, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Jessica S, thanks for coming. Appreciate you. I really do. Amy WC, rarely awake at this time. Story too long. My schedule's flipped for now. Hey, we're here. Last week we were here for a really long time, so you probably could have went to sleep, woke back up, and we've still been talking about some stuff. That's the beautiful part about it. People from all around the world joining in. I said race fan, but I'm gonna say race fan again, because race fan always gets the gold wrench. I know, wrenches from SL. Hey, and that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm definitely gonna do that, because I just haven't done any mods over here. It's still a growing channel, and we normally don't have trolls, but no, that's definitely what I'm gonna do. Magneticus Attractus, buddy. Thanks for coming through. First time I've seen this many on before the show. Hey, that means it's catching on, man. That means people understand this is the place where you can come and talk. So that's a great thing. Let's keep it going. Wordless, salute. Wordless, thanks for coming in. Susan Place, thanks for coming in. Man, I hope to hear some people today. Yeah, Magneticus said last week was a long call. Yeah, it was, but I enjoyed it. Area 51, he got up here, and it was just a lot of speaking from the heart going on, which is what should be happening, right? You know what I mean? Why not? Why not show the love to each other? I mean, we're with each other, three times 7 days a week? That's 21 hours a week. That's almost a full day that we spend together. And then now the after hour show, that puts us over a day. That's commitment. That's commitment to each other. That's commitment to the overall movement. Yeah, Debster in Area 51, definitely. You may not have stayed long enough to hear Dogman UK with his thick Irish accent, man. That speaking facts. And Eugene came through too. Remember, Eugene came through, talked about NDEs. That's what I mean. You guys have a lot of good stuff to say, is the point of it all. And so this is a place where we get to hear from you guys. Yeah, it was 4 hours, twice. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. The conversation was going so long. So, got a great lead in, as we say in the media biz with SOR. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's almost like a spin. It's a spin-off for the after hours. That's why it's late night. That's after hours. This is late night. Late night calling. So after the after hours. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Greetings. Thanks for coming. So there's a million things that we could talk about. I mean, it really is up to you guys. I'm just wondering who's going to be the first to call. Area 51 is not here tonight to break the ice. Magneticus, though, is. Derek Galloway, did he sneak out the back door? Yeah. No, Magneticus blew our mind last week. Lovey Love was here. We had some real good stuff going on. So, yeah, I mean, we could talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Let's get it going. Let me bring some. I got a bunch of show topics that I've done, so we can always talk about that. So, what about this? This slide that I have covers the man's push for the moon. The great Terry Hall stepped in. Thanks for coming through. Yes, sir. So, yeah, lines are open. Anyone can call. The numbers 843 or 856-843-3444, or that's 856 the dig. And we can talk about anything. I had these topics up here from previous shows that I've done, and we can use those to kind of get the conversation going. So, man's push for the moon. So, I did a show on this. If you didn't know, if you hadn't watched this, it was a great show. Who do you think we really went to the moon? Who really thinks we went? Did we really go to the moon? There are some that really just hardcore believe that we went to the moon for sure. Then there's some that say, hey, no, we didn't. And welcome, Eugene. Gene is in the building. You already know, Gene. Actually, that's what I forgot to do. Okay, we have the number. But what we did last time for both shows is we also had the link to come on in and just join the panel. We had a pretty deep panel so everyone could talk at the same time. So that link is in StreamYard. I'm not forcing anyone to come online, but it's there. So if you feel like, hey, I want to talk about something, or I want to join the conversation, that's the link. It'll bring you backstage. I will bring you right on up, and you'll get to start off with an experience that you had. You know what I mean? What got you into ufology? You know, what was the how young were you when you first saw something? You know, how does your family accept the fact that you believe in this stuff? There's a million ways that we can go. So, yeah. That's what I'll do. I actually have to do that from the iPad because I don't know how to do it in StreamYard. So let me add it here. Give me just a moment, guys. Yeah, but the moon landing, so did a show on that because there's evidence that shows what maybe we did, maybe we didn't. And what are we doing with Artemis 2? Are we actually going back to the moon? Is that what we're doing? We're going back to the moon for the first time? Or are we going, volume down, buddy. Okay, I gotta get the link. Copy that. Leave the studio. Okay. One more moment while I post this pin it in the chat, yo. Conversation. All right. All right, there we go. All right, we pinned up. We're pinned up. Okay, yeah. So it's crazy, right? So I don't know, man. I'm on the fence with the moon thing. Like I said, I'm middle of the road type of person. I can be led either way depending on the evidence. I've seen the evidence, a lot of the evidence that they've showed about the moon landing, and I'm still on the fence about it. You know what I mean? I think there were barriers. I think that potentially could have held us back from getting there. You know, even though we had, as in the show that we did on the moon landing, they talked about the Van Allen radiation belt, which would have been one of the biggest things that would have stopped us from going. And but we had an email from Dr. Van Allen that said they would have only been exposed to minimal amounts of radiation because they passed through so fast. So there were pluses and minuses to that conversation. So and that's actually the way that you want to go with it. You want to have a fruitful conversation about whatever it is within ufology. That's what we need to be able to do. We need to be able to have that. And actually, you hear my air horn. Let me answer that.
Call from Amy WC.
Hello, Amy WC.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. About yourself?
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great. Can you guys hear her out there?
All right, second. I guess turn you off live here. All right. Yeah, I can call about the moon landing. I'm not good at doing this. This is probably the first time I've ever called in anywhere.
Wow.
But Magneticus attract, he ain't going to do it. So, but as far as the moon landing, you know, I was a kid. I watched all that and wanted to be an astronaut. You know, everybody did. There was a dream of every kid. Now, I live in Rocket City right now, Huntsville, Alabama, so I'm around the stuff all the time. You know, NASA, the Space Center, all that. But it was when you start to get a little older and you start hearing things and things start to get debunked, like I, spoke about earlier with the Bigfoot thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Jay Widener and Stanley Kubrick and the stuff in The Shining, and you're trying to put it all together and just hold it here. Because all these things that you've just known, in quotation marks your whole life, are just kind of being shattered a little bit. And for now, I think it's kind of a combination of the two. Yeah, we went, but that's not what we saw on TV. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and that can make sense. That exactly that's not what we saw on TV. And I can go with you on that too, because I do lean a little bit towards maybe we I don't think we landed. I think maybe we orbited the moon and we saw something that we shouldn't have saw. But then there's but then there's the things like the Van Allen radiation belt. They say that we were able to get through that because we traveled so quickly that we're only in there for 15 minutes. But who can prove that? No one's been back really since they stopped. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sitting here. There's no way. And I'll just tell you a quick one about flat Earth. Now, this was a lot of years ago on Art Bell. And, a guy came on and he's going to talk about flat Earth. That was the promotion of being, this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He's going to be thrown off the show because it's so crazy. Well, the guy held his own for like the whole show with everybody calling in and really wanted to just kind of knock him off his chair. So, now I don't think the Earth is flat, but the people who believe that, I mean, it's really hard to argue with them. And me sitting here, I can't prove it one way or the other.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, because I've never really had the discussion with a person that believed in flat Earth. So I don't even, what are some of their arguments?
Oh, the first basic one is kind of the one that everyone has where, well, the curvature of the ocean. it's 30 miles out, and then, the ships disappear and all that. Well, they have all these explanations for that, atmospheric this and all that, so and it just goes on and on. Now, I haven't kept up with it over the years, but I was really surprised. I see it here and there, and I think, well, people just want to toss it aside. Oh, that's stupid, because that isn't what we learned in elementary school. But these people that are really into it, now maybe they're just wanting to prank, or but they can hold their own.
Yeah, and and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that part we know the Earth is I mean, it's pretty obvious, yeah, because you start in one place, if you keep going east, you're gonna end up coming back to where you started. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, so if you keep going either east or west, you're gonna end up right back where you started. So that should be enough right there to let you know that the Earth is round. So maybe we'll have a flat earther on the show. You know what I mean? Because I would love to see what they say.
Really? Oh, they'll bring out the maps and everything. The maps that we see now and the maps that, the UN has. It's entirely different. And, it's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
That's showing flat earth. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that you look up to, like in celebrities and such, that think that way. And it's like, wow, it's like you're so intelligent in these other ways. And then for you to, it just shows how susceptible our minds are. Hey, David Divine Broadcasted. Thanks for coming through, pal. Yeah, but it just shows how we can be led.
Well, I think it's important, too, to question it. We're told everything. We get out of school, and we think we have this knowledge base, when all of a sudden he's like, man, I really don't. Question everything.
Well, one example of that is science books. We went to school and were taught that we had 9 planets. Now we have 8. And then amongst a bunch of other things that they've rewritten or revised. And now that we have James Webb Telescope, they're about to rewrite a bunch of other stuff. So, I like science, and I don't know if I said it last week, but I like science because it's at least looking into what could be, but at the same time, it's not the definitive answer to what's going on. And it's been proven over and over again. So when, like in the UFO argument, when they say leave it to science, well, we know science revises their stuff every 20 to 30 years. So, like, why would we lean on them for that?
Well, so does history. You think you know a little bit about history, and then you start reading, and then you start, oh my gosh, what we've been told, that kind of thing. But anyway, thank you so much. It took me I was really nervous to call in, and you've been a great host.
You do not sound nervous at all. Thank you for calling, Amy WC. You were the bomb. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Amy WC, guys. Give it up for Amy WC. That's what I'm talking about. Maggie M10, that was Amy WC. Amy WC, love it. Yeah, it makes great points. That's what I mean. So let's have the discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys. Did we go to the moon? Did we go to the moon? I have a whole list of things. I'll just bring up stuff from our previous shows so we can jump into, let me see what I have in my files. We have the moon landing. We have these are just the previous shows I've done recently. We did the top secret government. We did MUFON. We did shadow people. We did alien species. We did what's the state of confirmation. We did intergalactic capitalism. That was a deep show, so now I don't know if we'll dive into that one, but crop circles. We did what's the alien perception of humanity? Like, what do they really think about us at the end of the day? What do they think about us? Let's see. Which one is this? Okay, I'll bring them all up here. UFOs and consciousness. How do those two things relate? Do they relate? Let me bring them up here. Alien species. Let's see what that's in here. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So let me see here. So yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Amy WC. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. And man, I'm just so mad at Derek Galloway, man, because he just weaseled out of the show. He said he was coming on. I really wanted to hear from the guy, and he did not show up. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, Amy WC made some great points. Just like we were talking about, they change history so much. They rewrite the books. I mean, you know, so the average, we'll just say the average human lifespan, we'll be generous. We'll say 100, 100 plus, 120 years. We'll just, and that's on the top end of it, obviously. So even if you lived 120 years, how can you be an authority on how long the universe has been here? Like, I hate when they get into talking about the Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago. Like, how do we really know that? Like, what's really the answer to that? But here's the thing, just like MEWC said, we go to school and we get kind of indoctrinated with that, with this, what we'll call it knowledge. And then we just assume that that's what it is. And we just go along with it. Like, yeah, we've been 13 billion years. Like, how do you know that? Well, I read it in the book. Well, who wrote the book? You know what I mean? Who really knows how long that this universe has been here? The Big Bang Theory, it's never made sense to me. I mean, I understand what when they say what they're saying. I understand that, but where does the data come from? Like, how is that what you're standing on as what how this universe formed? There was just nothing, and then all of a sudden there was a bang, and everything spread out, and it's still spreading out. And then they get telescopes to look out there and find out, well, no, it's not really what we thought. So it just goes back to, what do we really know about where we're at and who we are? You know what I mean? And our place in the cosmos. Like, you have to really think about that. And looking back here on Earth, like I always say, I mean, as far as we understand, and this goes back to our understanding, which may not be amount really to much. We understand the Earth, the space, to be infinite, but infinite in what mindset? When we think of infinite, we think it doesn't end. It just never ends. It goes on and on and on and on forever and never ends. Or maybe it's just so big of a space that it appears infinite to us. And that's two different things. Something being completely infinite that just doesn't have an end, versus something being so vast that we, us, the size that we are and the speed that we travel, that we can never in a million years get to the end. But so how does a sloth feel? Does a sloth feel like the Earth is infinite? Right? If you look at that, does a sloth feel like the Earth is infinite? It moves so slow. Does a turtle feel that way? How long would it take for a turtle to walk around the globe? How many lifetimes would it take for a turtle to walk around the globe? That's probably more like it. So to that turtle, does this Earth that we know isn't infinite, would it seem like an infinite place? Probably. Probably. And so that's why we have to keep our minds open and not just listen to what people just, even though they're authorities in their fields. You know what I mean? doesn't mean that they have the answer. I mean, uh, and here's where when I'm saying that, I'll give credit where credit's also due, because I know there's also cases of times that some of the things that they say are proven, like the trajectories of the planets, and for instance, like the asteroid landing, or the capture vehicle that just came back from the asteroid. So we knew the trajectory of the asteroid. We sent it out there mathematically with the formula for it to be able to get there and then make the trip all the way back. So, I mean, I believe that happened. I mean, I don't see anything that goes against that notion. So, there are some things where, you know, you kind of have to say they kind of know some of the stuff they're talking about, but then there's just things that they can't possibly know, like the age of the universe. You can't possibly know that. So let me see here. I think a few people came in the chat. Oh, Black. I just say, I don't know if I said what's up, Black Dragon. Hey, Dog Man UK. We just talking about you, buddy. Thank you for coming through. And oh, Rod Morton, my guy. What up, buddy? The link is in the chat. This is a call-in show, Rod Martin. You can call in, or you can come up on the stage. It's pinned in the at the top of the comment. Pinned at the top of the comment, Rod. You can jump in whenever you want. And anyone else for that matter. So we can get to talking about some stuff. All right, so moon. So we talked about the moon. Obviously, there's a million ways that you can go with that. Did the show on that. We can also talk about, it's a show I did on alien species. So insectoids, right? People say there's these things out there called insectoids. Yeah, right, for sure. So insectoids, mantis-like beings. People say they've seen these things. That's crazy. Is it possible? I mean, I don't know. I've never come face to face with the being to be able to tell you one way or the other. Now, what I will say is a lot of people do say, so it's not necessarily that it's belief that I would believe, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You said you saw one of these things, insectoid. Okay, I'm gonna roll with you on that. I will roll with you on an insectoid. Maybe you saw that. Yeah, tomorrow, man. Rod's coming in. He's coming in. I know Rod is definitely coming in. He's about to wrap a couple things up, and then he'll be in here. Yeah, me and Rod back in the, well, I'll wait for that story. I'll wait. Magneticus knows the story, but I'll wait till we got Rod in the building. Reptilians. Some people say these things have infiltrated the government. Some people say these things are orchestrating like everything that's going on right now, like the whole disclosure process. What, I don't know, man. Look, I've always said, and I will always say, that if we had 60-foot lizards walking on this planet that's been proven, then I'm open to these things, man. I mean, there's so many planets out there. There's got to be so many different types of alien things that we consider to be aliens, that I can be open to these things being out there for sure. You know. Now here's where I get into. Here's the problem I get though. When you have someone that tells you so matter of fact about what these things are. So I'll give you saw them. I'll give you had an encounter with these. I'll give you those. But when you get into telling their story, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure I say this right? Because what you don't want to do, and what I would never do, because I've seen weird things. I've seen like the UFO, and I've seen the shadow person. So I know there's weird stuff going on, and there's weird things out there. So I can tell you I saw the shadow person, and I can show you I saw the shadow person, but I'm not going to sit up and try to tell you that I know where they're from. You know what I mean? Like, how would I know that? How would I know where they're from? And I think in ufology, we end up running into a lot of that. We run into a lot of, and there's not a lot out there that do it. But, you know, when it comes down to saying that you know where they're from and why they're here, like, no one knows this stuff. No one knows any of this stuff. We just know that they're here. We know that maybe some of these are here. We know maybe some of these insectoids. Like, we know that part. But how can anyone know why they're here? Like, I just don't get into that. Hey, he's doing good, man. He's doing good. He's on his business. He's handling, he has his business that he runs. So that's what he's doing, taking care of business, literally. But you already know he's forever the social dig. So yeah, I just end up having a problem with that. They say, especially in this field with ufology and the phenomena, if you run into someone that claims that they know, then you might want to run away from that person. You definitely want to run away from that person, because there's no way they could really know. There's no way. The grays. These are the classic grays. So, yeah. Humanoid figures, it makes sense. You have to look at a lot of the commonalities when it comes to the extraterrestrials and us. And not even necessarily going with the narrative that we're related or we are them, because there's no proof of that. We could say that. We could say that all day. But I don't think we have the proof of that. Like, we haven't run any tests to find to know that. I think, and here's where I go back to like the common sense thing. I think figuring out the phenomenon is more a matter of using just common sense and saying, hey, does that make sense? Does that make sense? I think common sense answers a lot of the questions. So I think common sense says to me that things that are coming here are probably what they call humanoid, meaning like 2 feet, arms, hands, however many fingers, doesn't matter, and then a head, 2 eyes, mouth. I think it just makes sense because if they come in craft, that's something that we can relate to. We can relate to craft because we have craft ourselves. We drive cars, we fly in planes, helicopters. You know, back before cars, we were in horse and buggy. So we've always traveled in vehicles. These things do too. So if that's off the back, those are two commonalities from something from here from Earth and versus something coming from way off something else. They're physical craft in most cases. So I think we would probably share, if that's the case, we would probably share other characteristics too. So I think it makes sense that most of these things are different type of humanoids because you know, the crafts are meant for humanoid, like they're designed for humanoids. I think you should look at the commonalities. I think it's that simple, really. You know, I think it really is. I think when people overthink it, then that's when you start creating narratives that may, you know, that can go off into being fantasy because there aren't facts back behind them to prove any of it, right? And it kind of, and that, I think that's where the whole ufology, the way that people from the outside look at ufology, and I think that's an important thing to say real quick because on the inside, when you're on the inside, you may not be aware of how people on the outside look at us, right? So when they come to ufology, or when they look at ufology and they say, hey, you guys are UFO, that's why they call us UFO nutters, UFO nuts, tinfoil hat, and call us all these names because there is a subset of ufology, and I know it because I've seen it, which is more on the believe without proof side. You know what I mean? Versus being in the hey, let's have an open-minded conversation about this side. I think most of us are in the open-minded place where we're like, hey, we are on the side because we've seen things and we've had experiences, but we are open to suggestions from the outside. But I think what happens is that those people who just don't believe, or the people who are on the outside of ufology, when they look into ufology, they end up seeing the person that just believes to believe. And then because they saw that person, then that's how they label all of us. And this goes back to when Lou Elizondo talked about blowing up ufology. And everybody was so upset in ufology and was offended. Like, whoa, he said blow ufology up. So he must be talking about me too. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. Let me bring this up from Eugene. I'm sorry, I missed this, man. Um, That's what late family friend Betty Hill said, Rob. A common sense approach to UFOs, same title as their book. Had no clue. But common sense would be to name your book that because, you know what I mean? It just goes back to what I was saying. But yeah, as far as ufology goes, and that's why, and this is just, I'm going to just be truthful. This is why I understood him when he said that. Like, I didn't take it the wrong way. I looked at it for what he was trying to, uh, hold on, Rod. You can do either the StreamYard link at the top of the chat, or you can call 856 The Dig with two G's. But yeah, so there's a part of us that we should want to get away from the ufology name. I think the name is tainted itself. I think the name is tainted because when I first started this show, I did a show on the state of ufology. I think it was one of my earliest, like second or third episode, and basically I said that ufology, when people from the outside look at ufology, it's almost the same as like Scientology. They look at it as like a religion. So when you have someone from a religion soliciting you to come in, you're usually going to be standoffish about that, right? Like, hey, really don't. And that's what people do with ufology. When it's like, hey, UFOs are real, come on in, come check this out so we can talk about it. But to them, because they're on the outside, they're looking at it like, hey, you guys are a religion.
Call from
Roderick Martin.
You guys heard that? We got Roderick Martin in the building from Why the Big Secret. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Chilling, man. Sitting here getting deep, man. Talking about some deep stuff, man. You got something on your mind? What you want to talk about? You want to talk about this? What you want to talk about?
No, I'm with you. I was listening in, and where you were saying where people tend to tell you, hey, they know all of this, though they know everything that's going on, all these species and where they from and why they here, and so it's like, yeah, right,
Right.
So,
and that's the thing. I mean, here, and that's why I'm saying it, and I'm trying to, because a lot of people in ufology wonder that they say, hey, why won't those people realize the aliens are here? Why won't they come in, and why won't they join us? And it's important for humanity, and it's because it has to do with the stigma. But they are grouping us all into one group. They look at us. They really look at ufology like a bunch of religious nuts. It's how it, just to put it bluntly. I mean, that's what they look at it like Scientology, and they're like, I don't want to join that.
Yeah, I did an interview with Linda Moulton Howe, but I talked to her a few times on the phone, and when I was on Clubhouse, the name of my pilot show was called Ufology, right? And for a moment, she hesitated that she wanted to be part of it because she said she doesn't like the terminology because it was put in place to, make people, in other words, it was a military term that was created as a joke. They'll say, oh, this guy's into ufology, and they'll laugh behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
But she also mentioned that Stanton Freeman told her that, no, we need to embrace it. Now we have a name for what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how all that was birthed, even though it was around. But he was like, no, let's embrace this. It's no joke. This is serious. But that was one of the stories that she told me. Kind of go bit what you're saying is how they, people still look at everybody in the same bucket as tinfoil hats and crazy. So
Yeah. I mean, and most of us are clear thinking, logical people who aren't just believing these things are here. A lot of us have seen some things to bring us to that point, but they don't understand that because those same people on the outside haven't seen anything themselves. So to them, they're like, "Oh, you imagine that." Or that didn't really happen. You guys just believe to believe. And I think we are like, we need to police ourselves as far as that goes, and kind of either, if we want this to be taken seriously, we have to kind of break away from that. And the only way to break away from it is to leave those type of people who are really, out there and are really saying, hey, kind of really making up stuff. I'm gonna just be real. There's a portion of people within our group, our ufology group, that are just not telling the truth, and some people that just believe what other people tell them just because without any evidence. So unfortunately, those people in the group don't add to the conversation, and they give us the bad name because those are the ones that show up on a show somewhere and get to spewing the stuff. And then when a person on the outside of ufology is saying, hey, you know what, today I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. I'm interested. I've really been thinking about this. I really want to see if there's something there. And then they tune in, and then they get the person that's way out there, and then they're like tuned out, instead of getting the person like yourself or myself, who's more middle of the road with it, and coming from a perspective of it could be this, could be that, which they'd be probably more open to listening into something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, and I don't know if the audience or if you remember they had the very first hearing that they had about UFOs, the congressional hearing, the first one. And that was a moment, and I actually displayed this a few times on my channel, when Robert Moultrie and the other congressional congressman, I forget which one it was at the time, but he asked him, were there any repercussions for people that are out here telling these stories that may not be true? And Robert Moultrie said, well, that is something that we need to do. And I thought that was really alarming, because I felt that at that moment, although they was correct that we need to shut down these fakers, but they can also deem any one of us or one of our stories could be fake, if they want to call it that. And then right after that, I think they executed their first plan, is when they went and raided that dude's house, Dreamland, right?
Yeah.
And took all his stuff, his girl, and everything, because at that point it wasn't in place. And I think that was the beginning of what's happening. And then right after that, when that happened, behind the scenes, I think the other congressmen began to chatter, and that's when the Whistleblowers Act amendment became appropriate, because they knew that they was getting ready to use the power and just come out to people and to shut stories down that could be true, but then turn around. And so because we do have those people out there that's quack, quack, duck, duck, and, because some of this stuff is unverifiable, right?
Right.
So, and some of these people know it, and they may want their minute of fame, which came back down to, you remember the Vegas thing in the backyard? People was like, oh, he's just doing it for fame. And I'm like, no, that one there, I cannot believe that one. You know what I'm saying? There were just too many other things around that wasn't correct. And I'm like, why would somebody want to do that? So the challenge is, because most people psychologically only want to believe what they see, is why we have this issue. And I always just come back and say, well, you believe in air, you can't see it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
But so that's one of those things I think is going from there. So
yeah, but I mean, imagine you're someone on the outside who's never seen anything, and you hear, oh, I've been seeing on the news, they've been saying UFOs are real, huh? That's crazy. Let me look into that community and kind of, I want to pique my interest, want to see what's going on. And the first thing you get to is Stephen Greer saying something crazy, spewing something wild. And then it's like, okay, that's, I can't take that. So now I'm out. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that's one of our biggest problems. We have to police ourselves. We have to figure out a way to either, you can't kick those people out of ufology, so you might as well separate yourself or make a splinter group, like, that's more for, more for the real mission of this, which is figuring out what these things are and figuring out how that affects us all. They ain't got no fancy story to tell. I don't have you know what I mean, a real dramatic thing that'll blow your mind. You know what I mean? I just saw something strange. I filmed it. I did, you know, due diligence in looking into what this could have been. Came to the determination that it's not from here, and boom, and so let's roll with that. It's just real. You know what I mean? It's just real evidence, real thought process, real open-minded thought process, and then moving on with that. But that'll get overlooked for a Stephen Greer type. You know what I mean? And I think that just it really hurts us. It really does hurt us, man. And you know, just me as myself, I can only say these words that I'm saying right now and hope that maybe I'm not the one that can come up with the way that we can get it done, but I can speak the real, and then maybe somebody out here can do that. You know what I mean? We need each other, so it's not just a one person thing. And that was the other side of it, because there's a lot of, and it will go back to Greer because he's a perfect example of both situations where you have a person with the messiah sort of complex within ufology who says, I have the answers. Come to me. I'm the one. Only I know. And, you know, just like there's, I've heard some channelers that say, hey, I'm the only one that can talk to these particular aliens. They only will talk to me and no one else. And it's like, well, why is that? You know what I mean? And so that means now you've created a situation where if I believe what you're saying, then I have to go through you to get the information. And you're just you know what I mean? And so it's a lot of those types, man.
Well, yeah, I think what we have to look at, two things. One is, let me use the term disclosure. Okay, I definitely believe that disclosure will never go away, so to speak. They're just gonna change the rules, right? We're never gonna get disclosure, because the point of disclosure would be knocking on the door and telling everybody to bring your ass out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you knock on the door and say, I know y'all are in, they're lying, they're lying. And so UFOs are here. And now, but we don't condition the public for the last 60 years, 70 years, don't believe what they say. And this is what you see today, because they coming out and saying they hear, oh, we got, or trying to in a little bit, but we're still going, oh, yeah, I ain't believe y'all. I don't believe that. So it's they always been one step ahead of us. And because we do have a separated type of organizations, you know, we got, although we have people all trying to work for a common goal, we're just as compartmentalized as the military is. Nobody's going to share their secrets. Ain't nobody going to share what they know. They're not going to share what they know. And everybody's left out on who you know and what you know. So they're real smart at what they're doing. So the big secret keepers.
Yeah, and I think they don't have respect for us in that aspect. I think, you know, because it's like this, I think that they lose respect for us. So For instance, like I did a show where I broke down the skeptical, non-skeptical logic, where I had a graph, and I don't even have it up here, but I made a graph, a sphere, and it looked like a beach ball. It had different colors, and on the outside areas of the sphere was skeptics, extreme skeptics, and on the opposite side of the sphere was um, extreme non-skeptics, and then in the middle, with the line divided down the middle, you had regular skeptics and regular non-skeptics. In these two groups, the regular skeptics and non-skeptics are where we fall. So we're the non-skeptics technically because we're in the ufology. However, we have an open mind and we're open to answers that may lead us one way or the other. And then same thing on the skeptic side. A skeptic, the regular skeptic, is going to be open-minded enough to hear what you have to say and the evidence that you present to them, and they'd be willing to take that into consideration. So that's fine, and that's kind of where we're at and how it should be, period. But then you have the far sides of that, where you have the extreme non-skeptics, and they just believe to believe. You could tell them you saw 16 little people coming out of a tree, and those people on the extreme non-skeptical side are just going to be like, wow, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Not even questioning or challenging. And then you have on the opposite spectrum, you have the extreme skeptics who don't want to hear anything you got to say because they just don't believe. They don't believe nothing can happen that isn't in what they call reality. And so the problem is that those people on the far sides of the spectrum are the ones that get involved in the conversation, but they can't help the conversation. And so they make both sides look bad. So we look at skeptics and say, man, you guys are always debunking stuff. But no, those aren't the regular skeptics. Those are the extreme skeptics that are doing that. And those are the only ones that we see when it comes to somebody from that side of the conversation speaking up. And then same thing, vice versa. A regular skeptic person is only getting a chance to see the extreme non-skeptics, which are the ones that are just, hey, I believe it because I heard it. And it's not logical to think that way. So I think that's where we're missing each other. And I think that's why the conversation isn't able to be pushed forward in the fashion that we want it to be, because the people who shouldn't be talking are the ones that are talking. And it's like, it should be the open-minded people that can further the conversation, because you can agree to disagree, or you can show me some evidence that lets us cross this off the list, and now we're moved on to the next thing. So that's progression. That's moving forward. And I think that's just what the problem is. So it's up to us technically to try to figure out a way to police this, because this is the mess that we're in. And if we're trying to get to where we're going, then we have to figure this thing out, man.
Well, I think for the most part, you're not going to have the people who do have the information coming forward, and that's the problem. So the skeptics are gonna always win because they're in the majority, because after all, we got to prove it, right? And so they have more bullets in their gun of what they can't see and what we don't show, unless everybody who do have something come forward. And all it takes is one conversation in the living room with an alien sitting there, right? And we're done. And that was one of the things that, when I start shifting conversations with my show, because I felt like, okay, we're talking about UFOs, but UFOs in about another year or two is going to be common conversation. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is desensitize the public, right?
Right.
But on the other flip side of that is the fact of what happens. What happens when the big reveal happens, as Dr. Greer says, something is coming or something big is on the horizon. Uh, and if you remember the Israeli prime UFO people right before Trump left office declared that the extraterrestrials said it's time. They feel on their end, and but then how do we believe that, right? Because who knows and what they're talking about, but the big reveal. But I think if that happens, whether it's a false flag, whether it's holographic technology, once the reveal goes down where the majority of people believe it, but no outcome of destruction is behind it, now it just becomes a subtle in the dark conversation. And what happens there? The mystery is gone, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why, I mean, I sat up and I got so frustrated last week, man, because I'm sitting here spinning my wheels, but I'm speaking the real, though. I'm definitely speaking the real. And it's like, but the end result was, the realization is that, man, there's no there's no current plan to fix what's going on. So it's like knowing that you're in a car and you know you're about to crash and you can't stop it, sort of feeling. Like, it's like, I know everything I need to know, but I can't stop the car crash. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's kind of what's going on here. And the thing is it's like, when you look at where because a lot of people are depending on the government to lead us down the path that, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. But we're obviously confused, because there's a section of us within ufology that really truly believe that disclosure comes through the government. They really believe that. And then there's a section of us that says we don't need the government. You know what I mean? And it's like, realizing that it's a chance. That first of all, realizing that we are also divided in this, even though we're in one group, but we're also divided in our thinking and how we approach this. And it's like, how will we ever unite and mobilize that? You know what I mean? It's like, and that's kind of where, that's the frustrating part for me, man, because I'm all about progression and trying, and that's why I even do this, man. I do this for that very reason. And you know that better than most people do. And it's just like, it's just frustrating, dude, to not be able to do anything about it. And maybe, and I, just like I said last week, maybe that's just now because the platform isn't big enough to really make it move like that. But maybe once it grows, then the reach will be further. But we really need, and I know you've said this before, we need influencers, man. We need celebrities. We need the people who are the influence in the world to help push this narrative.
Yeah, I think it's and let me back up. The influencers talk about what we talk about, but in their circle, it's the undercurrent joke or conversation, because they don't want to put their reputation on the line for something like this. But don't worry, because it's going to happen. See, when Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's documentary come out on the Betty and Barney Hill story, that's going to open up a whole world. You got an ex-president that's leaning into the UFOs. Then it's in our community as well. It's going to be a conversation starter. So I would give it, I don't know when they're going to come out with it. They announced it back in December of last year that it's called White Mountain, that they're doing they're doing a documentary. So it's moving slowly but surely, and the fact that it's on the news and everything else. Now, it may not have filtered down, and there's a reason why I do Project Black, and I probably got about 22 people behind the scenes that's ready to start speaking and all that. I'm just putting together the last of the logistics, but the whole point of it is it's going to be, as I put into the tagline of Project Black, start the conversation. Because if we don't get started, then it is crazily not going to go there. And the big secret keepers know it. But what made Tucker Carlson lean into that? What made Fox News lean into? What made News Nation all of a sudden decide they want to start covering these stories? So it's a bigger fix there, but it's still not to a point where it's mainstream unless something happens ridiculously, like this Bigfoot thing that we just saw, which a lot of people kind of, but it just takes time. But for you, I get it, because you have always been, really connected to this thing because of, wanting the truth, wanting to come out. And it's where I really shift from, because when I first got in this thing, oh man, they got to do it. Now I do a little more what I call infotainment, and I like to kind of keep it where it is, because at this point it's a big ass task, and it's a lot of weight to carry, whether we have a large channel, small channels, whether anybody listening, not listening, and all it takes. But the other part of that is it takes a community, and this is why I lean toward the truth seekers community and begin to build a group of people that's seeking the truth. And within that, you will find the solitude so that you can get up every day, such as I can get up every day, because I'm not alone within that community. And as long as I can shine the light within our community, it makes it a lot easier, because you can't turn it the other way and shine light on them. We just don't, we're just not bright enough, right? So, just keep it going, keep stepping.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's like I said, this channel is about positive progression in humanity. Always is, always will be. So when there's something like that, a hurdle like that that's in front of us, it's just, for me, it just it affects me. It really affects me, man. It like, I take this serious, like, you know what I'm saying. So when I run across a problem like that, then I know that it's going to be a problem for us to progress. And it's like, man, I have to. I can't do it by myself, but you know what I mean. It's just like, I want to lead the charge on this, or at least play my part, and it just ends up being frustrating, man. But with that being said, with that being said, we were talking about these extraterrestrial species that visited Earth, but I'm gonna get off of that because I wanted to talk about consciousness, and these are all shows that we done. You guys, if you ever want to see these shows, they're here on Social Dig, previous episodes. But consciousness, right? So flip the script. So how do you what is your take on consciousness, and how it relates to this whole phenomenon?
My take is a little different when it comes down to talk about consciousness, because, and let me use Billy Carson's story of putting together a consciousness awards, right? And that umbrella of that is just so freaking wide. So some people think consciousness is going to use the term woke, you know, or is it consciousness understanding who you are, or is it consciousness that you're on a different vibration and that now you're connecting to the cosmos, or is it consciousness because we're now in Aquarian age and life is shifting? Is it consciousness? And I can go on to the consciousness community, and it's almost to say that you remove the word consciousness and just say, am I open to receive what the universe has to offer, right? And because now we're segmenting something else. We always seem to segment things and put things in these different compartments so that people can have a better understanding. So, but then in consciousness, you got empaths, or in consciousness, you got psychics, or in consciousness, you got channelers, or in consciousness, and I can just keep going, right? It doesn't, it's a never stop. And so to answer that to you, I honestly can't say what consciousness is. It's whatever everybody's trying to tag it to, so to speak, as opposed to all of the umbrellas, because a psychic is not considered in ufology at some times, right? They're over here to the side by themselves. But then you have tarot card readers, and then you got empaths, and you know, or do empaths connect with ufology or the phenomena, or are they just empathic people, right? So it's like, man, this thing is, so the deeper you go, the rabbit hole is so freaking deep. And then all of a sudden it disconnects itself from extraterrestrials, right? Now, if you start talking consciousness and extraterrestrials, you almost can put a line in between those now. You know, because some people are talking about consciousness and they can give a damn about an alien, right?
Right.
It
spills
it
over.
Like this shit over by, yeah, it's over by itself now. So it's big, you know, and so I guess that's the best way I can answer is that it's big.
Man, so the way I look, the way I look at consciousness is like it's connected to our life force. It is connected with the energy that drives us, that makes us our essence, our being, who we are, and it ties into the energy that moves the universe, moves the planets. Like it's all interconnected, and I think it's like that's why some people like to say or consider the Earth to be conscious. I don't know. You know what I mean? I know that it runs off the same energy that we run off of. I don't know if you can call it conscious, but you know, I think that energy is what connects everything. So even though we don't know what these things are, if they're living beings within this universe, then I would assume that they're a part of that consciousness too, and everything's interconnected. So, you know, and that's just how I look at that. I mean, I just feel like you know, because you can look at it just like you were just talking. It can be taken different ways when you say consciousness. And what I'm looking at is when I say consciousness, I'm talking about the energy that is you, the your life force, you know, the thing that's inside your meat sack, that energy and how it connects to everything else going on, UFOs and everything else considered. That's why I'm open to the CE5 stuff. I think that could be real. I don't have proof that it is because I haven't been places where someone has done that, but I believe it's real. I believe the that it could be real. I believe remote viewing also could be real. It sounds wild if you're not looking at it in the conscious in the realm of consciousness. If you're someone from the outside who doesn't really dig into the topic and you just hear somebody saying that they can see something somewhere else and that's a real thing, you know what I mean? But I'm open to it because I believe in whatever this energy is that keeps us going and is our essence, allows us to be able to do that because it extends from outside of your body, from in your body to outside of your body, and then connects with the energy that's around us and the energy that's out there. So if you can do that, just like water and electricity, you know, you can be across the room, but if the floor is flooded, the electricity is going to go through that and hit you way over there. You know what I mean? And that's probably the best type of analogy that I could use to kind of describe what it is that I'm saying. So if that can happen, if electricity can be conductive in water and hit you way across the room, then your energy, your electricity in your body, your life force, your consciousness probably does the exact same thing, which, if that's the case, opens you up to be able to do some of those things that I just talked about. So,
But let's take it further. Electricity hits you across the room and you fall out. When the ambulance show up, they're gonna say he's unconscious. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It rendered him unconscious. So now we're down at the human level, or not human level, but we're at the basic level of unconscious and consciousness. So where is it where the threshold means that it's something galactic? Because any one of us get hit in the head with a brick, we're going to get knocked out unconscious, right?
Right.
So, and that's the reference of it, is either being awake or not awake. And so at what level does that changes that, okay, from a scale 1 to 10, now that you're on conscious level 6, you're awake? Or are we always conscious? We're just not vibrating at a certain level or speed or to see what is happening. So some people are able to get to 3, some people are able to get to 6, and the higher you go, the more things open up to you, right?
Right.
But everybody walking around is in the state of consciousness. It's just, where are they on that scale?
Right. And I had to pause real quick because I want to let Tomas Man know I love the picture, dude. I didn't realize you changed the picture, man. You fly up there, man. I like it. But yeah, so in a good way to point that out and to show that is probably the case is the feeling that you get when you are around. And then not just us. Like Jessica S. was just talking about, her cat isn't sure who's talking tonight. So her cat is sensing that there's something going on. And like when you're in a room somewhere or you're just out somewhere and someone steps in the room quietly. You didn't hear anything, any steps, and they slid in the room quietly, but you feel it. You know what I mean? So it's like your energy is touching theirs. So there's definitely something there. Just like you said, air. You can't see the air, but it's there. And it's the same sort of thing. And I just think that energy that you feel, that maybe it's aura, maybe you call it aura, but whatever that is that extends from within inside of your body and touches other people, like that thing right there, that's the thing that I'm talking about. And that's the thing that I think keeps everything connected and makes the things that I just talked about plausible. So like for a person who just doesn't believe that remote viewing can happen, like it just is impossible for someone to sit here and then connect with something all the way across the world. I mean, well, now if you think about it and you sit down and you just use your common sense and then just look at it and say, hey, well, because of this makes sense, because of that makes sense. Then once you start doing that, then you've realized that you're actually open to a lot of these different things that are being said. So,
well, I mean, it's all possible because now I've taken remote viewing courses and I got pretty good to a certain extent, once you get your coordinates and all that. So it exists. But the proof is already, now I'm talking to you on the phone, but it's operating on a frequency. It's transmitting, no different than a fax machine on one end can send a copy of a paper through a phone line and comes out on another end identical to what went in it, but it's traveling.
yeah.
And now you got
Same
cell phone
idea.
towers is transmitting. Yeah.
Same idea.
So you just got to tap into a frequency. That's all.
Now, Maggie makes a good point, and this actually I can vouch for this because this is a real thing, and so she says there's experiments done on dogs. It's really interesting. Random times coming home, a camera on the dog in the house. The dog showed consistent signs of knowing when the owner was nearly home. My dogs do that every single day. They they know way before anyone comes up to the front door that someone's on the way. They know, and it's not because they
Well,
hear
how
it.
many times do you wake up without alarm clock? You somehow your body wakes you up at 6 a.m. and you didn't even set the clock.
Yeah, yeah, I do that a lot too. That's me. I lived for years without an alarm clock, going to work at having to be to work at 5 in the morning, and yeah, I just wake up just on like clockwork. So I know exactly what you're saying. And it's just that part that we don't get, we don't understand, man. And it's like, so if you open yourself up to just kind of just being open mind at the end of the day, I guess that's just really what it is. It's just being open minded to consider and just talk it through. Because what are we doing here? We're not scholars. We're sitting here using common sense on some stuff. Now we do have some perspective on some things, but at the same time, it's just what makes sense at the end of the day. Does this make sense? And then you talk it through, and then you realize, wait, this does make a lot of sense, and this could apply. And I think that's kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, I have four dogs, four little chihuahuas, and boy, them things at least. I mean, whoever's coming up to the door is probably still on the street, and they know. I try to sneak out the house and go to the store, and they know what I'm doing. It's just insane, dude. It's insane. And that was another thing I talked about was your senses and how people just look at it as like smell, touch, see, and hearing, smelling, and but it's more than that. I mean, I think your senses are used for more than just the basic thing like I want to touch that, or I smell the food, or I see that over there, or I heard that, right? Those are just your basic, when you think of senses, the basic ways that you think that you use them. But I think that they can also be heightened, you know what I mean? And you're just using them at a lower level. But those things can
Well,
actually, yeah, go ahead.
so you got four dogs, four chihuahuas.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever walked into the room and they're sitting over there having a conversation, but yet, hey man, what you doing today? But they know how to communicate walking around and know what each other's doing, and we don't hear a word.
Right, right, right.
So obviously they're using some type of conscious communication.
Yeah, just with a look or a motion or, and that just is, I mean, that's the thing, right? So it just shows that there's levels and levels above what we even understand. And it's like, what is, man, I don't know if we'll be still here to know that full truth. You know what I mean? Like, what is the real, like, once we really figure out our true being and meaning and what we have the ability to do, like, once we really figure that out and unlock that, that's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be crazy, man. Once people learn exactly what we're capable of doing, I hope we can see
Well,
that.
they already put they've already put the consciousness of a chimpanzee, I think, in another. And then if you remember the movie LoJack or whatever it's called, Emilio Estevez played in it, and another dude, where they was putting people's consciousness into the computer, but going back still in bodies or wherever they want at death, and then put your consciousness in. So the thought of that's been around some time, and even the military got things that, stuff that are operating, and all the pilot has to do is just think it.
Right.
Which is what we have now with prosthetic, arms and devices and things that are moving. So we know it's operating higher, something bigger, which then comes to the point of reincarnation. All of these stories of, the body dies, but that consciousness is coming back once again.
Right.
So, or the soul, if we want to use that word. So it's something that's phenomenal, or is it just basic understanding that we just haven't wrapped our head around?
Yeah, I'm going with the latter. I'm going with the last comment, and I think that's really what it is. And like Black Dragon says, I can feel energy from others. It affects me physically. It isn't in my mind. Yeah, I mean, you like when someone walks in with bad intentions, you feel that. That's unspoken. You feel it, even if you don't. You can just feel it. It just resonates. And so, this just like you stated with the Wi-Fi and things like that. If we were able to see in that spectrum, or we could see all the radio waves, they'd be all around us. It'd be everywhere you look. There would be waves penetrating something or going through something, and it's the same thing. It's something that we can't see, but it is there, and it does allow you to connect, and I think that's what it is. And Magnetica says, like twins. Yeah, I can go with that. So the way twins finish each other's sentences and seem to be interconnected in that way. That's probably a really great example, actually, Magnetic, is really, when you look at it, 'cause twins are a great example of that, how they can do that. And mother's intuition. Mother's intuition is a crazy thing. How does your mother know something's wrong with you from way somewhere else? How does she know that? How does she know that she needs to probably call you because something's going on? And then when you try to tell her, no, everything's okay, and she doesn't believe you because she received some sort of transmission. It's crazy. That's why I've always, being a male, I've always, and I'll just say it like this. Like when I was younger, obviously, I was a little more wild than I am now. And my girlfriend or friend at the time used to tell me X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, no, that's not no. But she was right every single time. Every single time. So I knew from a young age that women's intuition is real. That thing is a real thing. And it's just another example of how you're able to do. It's just wild. It's just wild. And there's so many examples. Like we just talked about a bunch of different examples of how you can feel something without physically touching it or physically potentially even seeing it or hearing it, that you can just connect based off of the ability that you have, the untapped ability that you don't even realize that you have. So it intrigues me then when psychics and people like that get to talking, because like if your mind isn't unlocked to even trying to understand it, you just look at that as some crazy stuff. Like, that's crazy. You can't tell the future. You can't do. That's just wild. It's crazy stuff. But we can really do this stuff, man. We can really do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Well, it's almost 3 a.m. here in Texas, so I'm getting ready to go to bed.
Yes,
And
sir. Thanks for
and
stopping
we'll
by,
talk.
man,
And
having a conversation. Yeah, dude. Let's do this again sometime, man, and we'll link up on some other crazy stuff too.
all right, we'll talk later.
All right, Rod. Take care.
All right, Magneticus. All right, later.
Yes, sir. Rod Martin, Water Big Secret. Love it. Okay. Yeah, guys, it's deep like that, right? So, it gets deep, man. We're untapped. We're untapped. We're like, imagine what the ETs know. Hey, Christine, that was my guy, Rod Martin, Water Big Secret YouTube channel. Used to be, I used to be on this show back in the day. And let me add Dogman to the stage. Cause Dogman's in the house. You there, Dogman? Can you hear me?
Okay. Could you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you loud and clear.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Up here spinning my wheels, man. Spinning my wheels. How you doing?
Not too bad. I actually got a sleep last night for a change.
Man. Oh, what's that like? What's that?
I know. I thought that for months I've not slept properly. I actually slept.
Yeah, I've been like that lately. You don't realize how good it is until you get it. And when you get it, it's like, oh, why was I not doing this before? I'm with you. I'm going to be doing the same thing soon, man. So I got a whole nother show to do tomorrow. And a whole nother call-in show. But yeah, this has been going good. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. I just thought I'd come up and say hello. And hello, everybody in chat.
Yeah. This is Christine. This is Dogman UK. If you've seen him in the chat. I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. What time is it out there where you're at?
It's 8:48.
PM?
Not AM.
AM? Wow. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what time did you, well, you came in. Yeah, okay. So you're just waking up for the day. That's nice. Yeah, Gene. Love the accent. Dogman UK is the best accent that I've heard so far. Nah, close to Maggie M10. Maggie M10 is a great one too, though. Definitely. Yeah, so we're talking crazy stuff, man. Consciousness, man. We're getting deep. We're going down the rabbit hole, man. Do you have anything to add to that conversation? How do you feel about
Well,
consciousness?
I would like to interject with this, right?
Yeah.
From my point of view, right? So I'm not going against anybody, right?
Yeah.
But
definitely.
anybody could say anything they want, right? And people will believe it, right? But I would question it, right? Just because people say something doesn't mean to say it's real.
Right.
Do you know?
Right. I'm with you.
But keep an open mind too, because you never know what information you're missing out on, right? If you discount everything.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And it may not be their fault technically, because we were all born into a society that is designed. It was designed way before we got here, and there's many more children to come after us that'll be born into it too. And it's about, there's a select few of us that unplug from that matrix. And so just imagine a day when that bubble isn't there, that machine isn't there, and you have children being born into this world having free minds from day one. Like, you didn't have to grow up and get older and then realize, hey, this is some BS, and then take veer the path and take your path. Imagine being able to be born from the first day and being able to start at that point with your mind unlocked. By the time you get to our age, like, you would be so mentally far ahead of the game. It's insane to even think about. Like when that day comes, that's gonna be a crazy day.
I don't think it'll be in our lifetime.
No, 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 no. We won't see that. We won't see that at all, unless, like, you see those movies where some world calamity happens and then humanity still continues afterwards, and then they have babies being born after that point in time, after the calamity, and they're living in this new world sort of situation. That be the only way, and the only way that could happen, or we could see like the first babies being born into that new era, would be like confirmation. Like if confirmation came and we had physical contact with the ETs and it was like a normal thing, like, wow, here they are, like babies being born from that point forward would be in that realm. And it's possible we could see that. We might be able to see that within our lifetime if we get that interaction and get that contact. Then it's a different world. And then those kids will be way further than we could have ever dreamed of being from day one.
But the only problem I've got with that is there's always going to be somebody that wants to control everything. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem of it all, right? There's always one person or a selected few and want to control the masses.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that's the thing. So what the hope is, just the hope is that if we get that moment in our lifetime, which is, this technically is that moment. I was saying, this is really one of those forks in the road during humanity's path, where we could go either this way or that way. So this way we stay with the whole program that we're in and we continue with that, or we take this way and we realize, hey, we don't have to be under any sort of control, and we can actually probably run this in a different way, and then everybody gets together to try to do that. Now, we wouldn't be able to do that just naturally because people are so programmed into what's going on that it would take nothing less than a catastrophic, like an asteroid impact or a disclosure confirmation with ETs landing and welcoming us, or it would take something, or nuclear war or something like that. So it would take something like that, something colossal, to put us in a position where we could maybe go forward without any sort of dictatorship over our heads, because really at the end of the day it's up to us on that. So if it comes to the point where one of those things happen, we can choose as a group to either say, yeah, we like being controlled and let's just continue with that, or we can all get together and make sure that doesn't happen. So, but it sounds like pie in the sky because we have been in this system for so long, but all dynasties fall. All as history shows, Roman Empire, the Egyptians, it all falls, it all crumbles back down, and things have to be rebuilt again at some point. And so it's just, we have to be conscious enough when we have that opportunity, when we are starting from scratch again, to say we want to do this without people ruling over us. So we have to be educated enough to, and carry that into that new era, say we remember what it was like. We don't want it like that anymore. We want to be able to have a equal playing field here. So, and hopefully we get to see that. And I think the only way we will see that in our lifetime is if we have, unfortunately, something horrific like a comet or a nuclear war. Hopefully neither one of those. Hopefully it's just ET contact, which should change the minds of a lot of people and make them think differently, hopefully.
Have you not noticed, though, they're trying to unteach history when it's already been taught? It's already played out, and yet they're trying to change it. Do you know that?
Say that again?
Have you not noticed lately they're trying to unteach history when history's already happened, right? And they're trying to make us all forget about it.
Right.
Why are they trying to do that? Why are they trying to do that?
That would be the plan. That would be their plan. However, it'd be the instability. So the same way, let's give you an example. Okay, and this is, I don't even like talking about the whole wartime thing, but just remember when I think it was Syria, and they overthrew Syria, and they overthrew Gaddafi, and at that point in time, as the people, they all got together, and they had a situation where they could have made a new path the way that they wanted, playing by their rules. And unfortunately, that was a violent sort of situation, but it wouldn't really take that. It would just take something where the people banded together. So enough people. Anytime historically here in the United States, there's a lot of different examples of when the people got together and affected change just by coming together. And if you think of that on a global scale, when when you talk about the powers that control us are less than the 1% of the population, then we really have the power to make that happen. I mean, we just have to want to do it, and we just have to execute. But as long as we're not together on the same page, we'll never be able to formulate a plan well enough to execute it that way. And that's what they all hope. Yeah, that's why.
That's the way they make it. That's the way they're making it for us, right? They're making us all divided. They're doing all this race baiting. They're doing all this culture baiting. They're doing all this religious baiting. They're doing everything, right, against the rich, against the poor, right? It's all designed, right, to take it and shove it up your back end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're totally right. You're totally right. It's a well thought out system that they've created in order to keep it status quo, keep it the way that they in their favor.
And you not notice? You know what the biggest control is? It all was. We all depend on money, right?
Yes.
We all depend on these big companies and these big things, right? All the time, right?
Yes.
And we've all forgotten what our nature really is.
Oh man,
Do you know that?
You're talking my language. You're talking my language. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why I did a show called Intergalactic Capitalism, and it was like, if we're gonna ascend into the galaxy and be a galactic species, can we really take this model that we have here now and take that out into space? Like, that model wouldn't work out there.
Could you imagine that? Taking that out there, right? What we've got, right? Because we're all against each other, right? We're jealous of that person because they've got an extra £1,000 more than you, right? Or they've got a better car than you, or they've got a better phone than you, and all the rest of it. Could you imagine taking that to other races, right? What they would think of us?
Exactly. I don't think they would let us. And that's why when we did that show, the question at the end was like, man, are we even, like, we are actually on the edge of stepping out there as we are right now with this same model that we're running here. And this isn't going to work out there. So you have to ask yourself, are we even ready to go out there? And the answer is probably no. Like, until we change the model that we're living in the model that we're currently living in, we are not ready to go out there. As bad as we want to go, and as bad as we want to be part of the Galactic Federation, and we want to excel, we have to, if we're going to do that, that comes down to that change that we need to make. So I don't know if we can make it out there on our own at this pace. I don't know, without help from these extraterrestrials, I don't think we can make it out there on our own like that and really be sustain ourselves out there. So it's going to take us having interaction with these extraterrestrials. So hopefully that interaction that we have wakes up the rest of the world, and then we vote, we make a choice together to tell our governments that we don't want to be, we don't, no thanks, we don't need the help. Like, we don't need your help to excel and get out to where we're going. Like, how are you going to help us do that? They don't have a plan to do that. They don't have a plan for us to go out there. They have a plan for them to go out there. So
what worries me about it all, right, is they're all making plans for us, right? And they don't realize they're not going to be the plan when everybody wakes up, right?
mhm.
They're going to learn it for the other side. What we hate to deal with, right? They're going to learn it for the other side, right? Because all the governments, all the agencies, they threaten everybody, they hide everybody, they kill people, right? They attack people, they discredit people, they do everything in their power to stop it all, right? But the more they do that, the more you make people determined to get to the truth. Do you know that?
Right. And that's the, I mean, and yeah, so going that way, you would eventually get to the point to where I would hope people would wake up eventually, one by one by one by one. And definitely that we wouldn't see in our lifetime, probably not our grandchildren's lifetime, if it went that route and we just had to wait for each person to. So that's why we have to have, and Amy WC is saying the plan is to kill us all. Amy WC,
Not the rich.
You
The
gotta
rich get hidden.
watch the show I just did on the top secret government, because that's exactly what I pointed out in that episode, just showing you, like, they have bunkers built, they have government continuity plans that guarantee that they continue after a disaster, and we're not part of that plan. The bunkers aren't built for us. We're gonna be left to fend for ourselves. And
I
so
worry about you. I worry about you in America with all the FEMA camps and all the rest of it like that, right? Why the hell they got all them everywhere in America, right?
mm-hmm.
Do you know that? What the hell? I'm British, right? And I learnt about this years ago. The early 2000s, right? I learnt about all that, right? And I've never been into none of this sort of stuff, right? But even a little person over the pond like me, right, was thinking, what the hell?
Exactly. Just look at it. Just look at it. And here's the real part of the problem is, even though that's the reality of it, no one's the wiser, because you are locked into a machine currently. So you don't, and things are technically, quote unquote, okay. Like, you're, in most cases, in most like westernized countries, you're kind of safe to go about your day by day. And so you don't even think or fathom of the day coming where you are put in that position or put in that situation. But if you look at third world countries as an example, like the Iraqs, the Afghanistan, they live that reality every day. And so it's just a lot of the westernized countries, which are the most powerful countries on the planet and the richest countries on the planet, we're in a position where we feel like it can't happen to us. Like, oh man, we'll be okay. I'll still live my life day to day. It's safe here. It's so comfortable until the day that something big enough happens. It's gonna take something big.
I think the only thing that we'll pull together, right, if we get attacked by aliens, right, if another alien race tried to come over and take over the Earth, that's the only way we'll pull together. Apart from that, I can't see us pulling together, right?
Yeah.
You know that?
I mean, and it would have to be, for sure. I mean, it would, but that's the thing. When contact comes, you are now in a situation, and most people are going to jump to conclusions anyway. So without it even being an actual invasion, it could just be aliens landing to say hi and wanting to be friends and things like that. But a lot of people aren't going to see that part of it. They're just going to understand that aliens just landed here and we don't know what their plans are. So
Well,
that's almost the same reaction or feeling you would get from an alien invasion. So I
well,
would
think
hope.
about it. Oh, sorry. Think about it, right?
Hmm?
For our governments to keep control, right? Now, the masses have got to be scared, right? And arm themselves, and it's got to cause mayhem and everything. For our governments to keep control, are they not going to attack the aliens, right? To make sure to say to everybody, oh, you're safe. We'll protect you. Do you know that?
Right. Right. And so that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. And here's the thing. And this is why, because if someone tuned in right now, I wouldn't want anyone to feel like I'm anti-government. It's not that I'm any way anti-government. I just understand what their agenda is and what they would do in the event that something, if the stuff hit the fan, that we're not in the plans for them going forward, and it's just something that you need to know. Like if you're oblivious to that and you don't really look at it that way, like you have to just open your eyes and just realize, like just think, like there's a chance. Look at here in America, the Hurricane Katrina, and how they left all the people out there to fend for themselves for a
Prime
long time.
example. Prime
For
example, right? The
exactly,
upper classes with the lower classes, right? If that was a rich area, right, they would have got all the help in the world, right? Where all the billionaires live and all the rest of it. But because it's a poor area, right, and they don't
mm-hmm.
vote for this person and that person, right, we'll just leave them. Now you go and tell me you're the richest country in the world, right, and allowing that to happen, right, is
Exactly.
that's the biggest sin ever.
Exactly. And it's just a sneak peek into if that and that's all you have to do is multiply that catastrophe by 1,000, 10,000. So now it just doesn't affect New Orleans, it affects the entire country, and then it's like the same thing would happen just on a larger scale. And it's like, well, okay, so then what do we need to do? So and oh, it's a cold situation because when it all started, we put them in the power to do this to us, and that's the crazy part about it is we gave them the power to do this to us, and now they're too big for their britches, and to a point to where they feel they don't have to listen to us or they don't have to consider anything that we have going on. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna take something big to make that change, and I'm just hoping, I look for the silver lining, and I know that the ET contact, as far as history goes, would be probably probably the biggest thing to happen to humans in our entire existence. They say since humans discovered fire, and I feel like the impact is probably that big to how it could change the way that we go forward. So yeah, I feel like but it's going to take them to land. It's going to take these ETs to land their ships on the ground, get out, and everybody sees them clear as day. It's going to take that. Now that day, things will not be the same once that day comes.
That day worries me too, right? Because if they come here to be friendly, right, and they're more advanced than us, right, and some idiots grab a shotgun, right, or attack them, right, when they come here friendly, right, ding, 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 us wiped out.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the here's the thing. You can probably bet that's going to happen somewhere. Period. Yeah, if they did that, someone is definitely shooting for sure. Like there's no
And
doubt.
that's the problem with humans, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
because we don't understand stuff, right? We'd rather kill it, right? Destroy it, right? So we live in our so-called safe homes, right? And live in our little societies, right? Where we think we're safe when we're not really. Your
At
homes are just
all.
like a prison. Do you know that? A prison with windows in it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, they shown that in other countries where where they mandate lockdowns and things like that, and all it takes is the flip of the switch. All it takes is them to decide martial order, martial law, and then there we go. And then now it's a prison. Yeah,
If you look at your constitution in America, right? Oh my God, you just get. I'm glad I'm in Britain. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have got away with that here.
yeah,
Do you know that?
yeah,
No way in hell they would get away with that here.
yeah. And it doesn't help that America is considered to be like the world leader, because that means they can do it without any repercussions from
Oh,
anyone.
who are they accountable to? Not even the president,
Right,
right? Even your president, right, has to account to somebody else. He's not in full charge. Do you know that?
right. Yeah,
And that
yeah, no, he's not.
if he's speaking for your nation, has been voted in, and all the rest of it, he can't even be privy to the information, right?
Right.
Then how could that be a system that works for all, right? It works for some.
You want to know the bigger part that sucks even more than that? The bigger part that sucks even more than that fact is that because America is considered the world power, then that means it affects every other country out there.
Well,
Every other country is affected by that
you,
So,
you know what's going on in the world right now?
oh
As
yeah.
you want to know what's going on in the world right now? Because America's been arguing, right? Who's what to be in power, and the Democrats and all the rest
Mhm.
of it like that, right? And yeah, what's that places have got that chamber and all the rest of it, they're off on it, right? And all this
Mhm.
fake stuff about your elections being fraud and Trump and Biden and all that stuff, right? That's allowed
Mhm.
all these other countries to sneak up, start attacking other people, all the rest. It's the same in the UK, right? Before we would have never allowed that to happen. Do you
Right.
know that after Syria, we would have never allowed that to happen, right? We should never have
Exactly.
left Afghanistan and Iraq. We should have made that as a symbol and stayed there for 100 years, right? To protect the people, right? And show people and rebuild their systems, right? And showed, right? Even out of war, right? Something good comes for it, right? We destroyed all the goodness we done, right? By leaving and left them to their own devices, and they all popped back up, and we brought on ourselves.
Right. Right. And so you see what's happening. So it and it's like, okay, we don't mind our business. We're always in other people's business. So what's really happening is the same movement that I'm talking about, where humanity across the world, we get together, we band together. They're doing that same thing, but just on a government from a government perspective. So they're spreading the government across the world in all these different key locations in order to in order to spread their own agenda, which isn't our agenda. It's totally separate from our agenda and what we want to do as globally the world. Like, if we erase borders and we're all humans, all in one pot of humans. That's what they're doing, but they're doing it from a government perspective, and uh, it has
See,
to change, or we're gone at some point here. We're going to be gone.
well, the thing is, I've never voted, right? I've
Right.
never took part in censuses. I've never done any of that because you know what? They know everything about me since I'm born. I've got an NHS number. That's my number for life, not a name, not what I've got, not who I am or nothing. The
Oh yeah.
government's got me for birth
Exactly.
with a number. That's it. I'm
It
just a number.
exactly. No, true, true. And that's how they find you wherever you are in the world, is by that number. And
That's
it
that's what worries me, right? And everything we're born into this, right? We're born into a system, right? It's not designed for us,
yes.
right? We're we're just, you know what? We're just a tax for them, right? So they get more funding and all the rest of it, or we're just cannon fodder for them, right?
Oh yeah.
Unless it affects them, right, or their families, or their agendas, right? We're just like there to be like, oh, kill him. Oh, we'll
Oh
put
yeah.
him in jail. Oh, we'll get rid of him, or we'll get rid of this, or we'll bring down this. Oh, we'll agree with this. We'll put this religion up here. Oh, we'll get rid of this society. We'll put this society here.
Look, anytime you have a group of people that end up passing away behind their something that's related to something the government decided to do, whether it was go to war or whatever the case. They hold a press conference and they make a speech, a written speech, and then they move on with their day. They
Well,
move on with their day until the next thing happens. They
do you
say
see
another
what's going on right
speech.
now? Do you see what's going on right now, right? In
Oh yeah,
Palestine, right? In
oh
Israel,
yeah,
right?
definitely. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not it's bad enough that they Hamas and all the rest that done that, right? But what they're doing, right? They are doing a million times worse right now. This is a big problem I've got with it, right? One action doesn't justify another action. Go on, protect innocents, right, and wipe them out. Why do they have to kill everything?
right.
Backed by us, backed by America and Britain. Why do they have to always do that, right? Why fire first, right? Annihilate them, blow them up, right? Rather than try and help people, right? And make sure and show the people, right, the terrorists and all the rest of it. This is how we do it. But no, we have to be the bigger ones, right? To just blow them all up, give them all the weapons, all the rest of it. That helps nothing.
And
Then after that, they're going to be left in the shit, right? Because when Iran, all the rest that gets involved, and it all starts a big conflict and everything, we're going to sit back in the sidelines. China's going to sit and laugh, right, at us, right? Russia's going to sit and say, oh, this is so easy. Thank you, Ukraine. Thank you, Baltic states, right? Because eventually we're going to need to protect our own countries, right? And do you think we're going to protect their countries?
right, right. And that's the thing. And if you, and this is how I look at it. I just look at it like pick any countries that are going in conflict with each other. If you were to, if the decision was up to the people of those countries whether or not they conflicted, there would be no conflict. And that's the craziest part about it. If the government took themselves out of those decision making process for those conflicts and left it up to the people, said, hey, let's take a vote, you guys want to do this, it would be no. It would be no. I'm sure 99% of the time neither country, the citizens of neither country would want to go into any sort of conflict, period. It just
Well,
wouldn't happen.
what we should have done, right, is turn around and say to the world, right, sent in our special forces, your SAS, right, your Navy SEALs, right, went in, cleared the whole place, protected the civilians, right. Yes, we would maybe lose some people, right, but we would damn sure save hundreds of thousands of people for dying, right, rather than what's going on right now. We could do that. We've got the power to do that.
Right.
Do you know that?
Right.
Israel could have all the army. You could have the biggest army in the world, right? You'd have all the soldiers in the world, right? But if you're not trained, right, you just pop, body, like what's happening in Ukraine and Russia.
Exactly.
We could stop it. We could stop it right now, right? And they know we can, right? Because if we went in there, right, and says to the world, right, you stop, right? You go back, you protect your country, you protect your country's borders, all the rest of it. We'll go on. We'll go through the whole place. We'll get the civilians out, right? And anybody they want to fight, by all means fight. But at least all the innocent people are out, or the kids, or the elderly, or the rest that are out. Do you know what I mean? Then we could do what we did, right? But no, we'd rather sit back, give stupid weapons to countries that don't even have a clue how to use them, right? And now it becomes genocide on both sides, right? And that's what I can't stand, right? As just because one act happened to one person, right, on one side, right, it doesn't justify what acts come after it, right?
Right.
And this is where I think the religious part of it all, right, is wrong, and this is where I think that other governments should condemn it all, right? Because it's all the same. It's murder, 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 right? It's not the people. It's stupid people. It's in charge. It's ain't got a clue, and they think, oh, we'll just throw bodies at it. We'll just throw bombs at it or the rest of it and that, right? And that breeds the next generation of terrorists for years to come, right? Because they see what's happening to them. They're hostages in that country. Everybody forgets that. They were taken hostage in that country. Israel controlled their fuel, controlled their water, controlled their food, right? No. Just because they're terrorist organisations, why didn't the countries all just put together and go in there and take them all out? Right? This could have been stopped. Prevented.
Yeah,
right?
And it's sad though. It's sad it has to even. It's sad that it would even have to be that way. I mean, because you're right. It would have to be some sort of violent situation in order for them to take back the rights that they have, that they should have.
Have you not noticed all the weapons that get sold to Saudi Arabia, right? For your countries, right? We sell ammunition, you sell all your tanks or your all the aircraft things, right? Saudi gets them. All of a sudden, all these terrorist organisations get them. You never noticed that one,
right?
And that's what annoys me, right? We're going about, oh, we're here to help everyone. Why sell to idiots like that at fund terrorism?
Oh, man.
Sorry, I just see that stuff for years, right? All my life, right?
Yeah. And you're pretty close. I mean, you're way closer than we are. So, yeah.
And what's sad is, right, profit over war. That's all it is. It's a profit game. Because right now, you think Israel's getting all the weapons and all that for free. Exactly. There's a cost. There's a cost to all this, right? There's a cost. And guess what our governments want Iran to do? They want Iran to get involved because they want the regime in Iran out so the straits can be opened again. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And
government
people's blind to it all, right? As the Iranian people want their government out and get democracy, right? But the problem is with that region is it's got Christians and Muslims, right? And the problem is whether the regime's in or not, right? That's always going to be a problem there with the Christians and the Muslims fighting against each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always, right? And it doesn't matter. You put a democracy there. It doesn't matter. Put a dictatorship there. It doesn't matter. They're always going to have that conflict there because that's been their history for thousands of years, right? And it's not going to be stopped. Do you know that? And until that stops, right? Well, and I see it right now. It's kicking off in Britain right now on the streets, by the way.
Like how?
It's kicking off. They're starting to riot on the streets. They're starting to attack Jewish places. And next it's going to be either a suicide bomb or somebody's going to go into a school or something like that, right? As the problem is, we've let them on. We've allowed it all to happen, right? We've allowed this multiculturalism to go on, right? And the problem is with that is it doesn't work in our society when our society used to be back in the Dark Ages, right? All like this, right? Hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Right. We evolved. We become civilized, but the problem is over there is they are still stuck in that, say, 15th century thinking. Do you know that?
Yeah, definitely.
And until they become like us, right? You need to have the wars, right? Because we all had our wars to get to this point we are now, right? There are a lot of bad that happened before it come to this point for us. Do you know that? And this is the problem. How do you tell a whole nation not to be them?
Yeah. I had a crazy idea, which could never happen. I was like, with the current situation that we have, the only way to try to fix without ETs or any intervention of anything else would be to just like a snow globe. Like you take a snow globe, you shake it up, it shakes all the snow up, and then it just falls. You take all the populations and you shake them up in a snow globe and you let them fall in their new locations.
Well,
And you blend humanity instead of having these separate.
have you never wondered, right, why we're allowing all the people dying in Africa, right? We're so rich, we waste so much food. Why are the people dying in Africa?
Right.
Why are the people not got water, right? Why are the nations getting left to fend for themselves when they've got the most natural resources in the world, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
They should be the richest. Do you know that? Why
Yes,
are we
sir.
allowing that to happen? Because it's all business, it's all for somebody's gain, right? It's all control, right? It's all, if you don't have that conflict, right, you don't have a job for this person, that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, all the way up. It's sick. It's sad, right?
Yeah. No,
And that's,
I'm with you.
that's what annoys me, right? About it all is, right? As we could do so much to help each other, right? We could be so kind, we could be so loving and everything, we could also be so evil too.
Yeah. 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 And once again, it's not even us as humanity, because you leave it up to us, we would say, yeah, let's go help. If you left it up to the people would say, yes, let's go help. But it's not up to us. It's up to the government. So they make the decision, and then it's politically based, the decisions that they make, and it never ever benefits us, the humans. Period. It just never does. It just never ever does.
Don't it make you wonder, right? In Africa, right? Why they not sent teachers over there, right, to teach them how to boil water, right, to make it safe?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Right?
Simple.
That's a simple thing. That's a simple thing, right? It doesn't matter if you don't know the language, anything like that, right? That's a human essential water, right? Now, how hard is it to send some steel across, right? Right? And show the leaders, or show the elders, or show them, right? You boil it, it gets to this certain temperature for a certain amount, right? Doesn't matter how dirty that water is. You get past that certain temperature, right? That's drinkable. It's safe. It's purified.
Yeah. And see that's why we need disclosure or confirmation. That's why we need it, because any civilization that made it all the way here has figured out how to get along together. They figured it out, and they fixed, if they ever had a problem like we're having here, they fixed that a long time ago. And that's why we need the confirmation. We need them to land. We need a mass sighting. We need to get that contact. We have to have it. I mean, because just like you laid out, there is no other way to get there. There is no other way with the way it stands now.
The only other way is we're due an ice age again soon coming up. It's 10,000 years since the last one. The Earth's changing its axis. Do you know that?
The move, yeah.
Yep, and that does that. That's been part of history. Everybody goes on about climate change. They ain't even got a clue.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
That ties into the whole snow globe thing I was saying. That's essentially the same thing. You create a situation that's out of your control.
Well, who's going to save us?
Everybody to do it.
All the poorer nations, right, are going to save us. If that ever comes to an ice age like it was before, right, we have to go to the southern hemisphere, right? Don't we?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So people need to think. People need to really think, right? That and I don't blame them if they turn us away, because guess what? And what annoys me is Africa's one of the oldest nations, right, in the whole entire world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I take it is, right, is they make it everybody's like they're stupid, they don't know nothing of it. They've lived their land before, way before us, way before our civilizations or the rest of it like that, right? Something happened over there, right? Their climate went from a jungle climate, right, to all being water, everything, right? to a desert, right? Or the rest of it like that, right? In a lot of the countries in Africa, right? Yeah,
Right.
they used to prosper, right, at one time. Same with Egypt. It wasn't that long ago, Egypt and everything and like that. There wasn't always a desert.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
And
That's
that's the
true.
thing. That's what all this climate change stuff and all that. It's a load of crap. It's just an air way to make money and get more funding. Do you know that? Do you know that? You could make all your electric things and everything. Electric costs double the amount, right? It costs more resources. It causes more problems. It's not right for the environment, right? It kills everything off, right? Then at the end of it, you can't even recycle it.
Right. Exactly.
So, like all these electric batteries, right? They don't even last long. Then you can't. It's like nuclear waste.
Yep. Can't dispose of them.
What do you do with it?
Exactly.
You take stuff, right? And you make it, right? And you use it for your own gain. But after that, right? You've not got a clue what to do with it. Some things shouldn't be played with.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. It's a sad state. I mean, but it's just what. And here's the thing: like, if you think about it, us as because we're in the machine like that, like you don't realize, and that's what I was saying before. Because we're in the machine, we don't realize how messed up everything is until we get to a certain age. Because the dream that we're living, we realize is not that, and then we see what everything is for what it is. So that's why when we get the chance to have a new generation of humans be born into a different way of thinking where they're way ahead of us, then they realize this stuff way younger, where they can affect change.
Do you not think human evolution is going to be like half robot, right? Half whatever we are right now, right? Do you not think that's going to be the human evolution eventually, right? That's the thing.
Know.
Well, that's what they're trying to push on us right now. Or our consciousness. Or putting our consciousness into a machine.
Yeah. So you can be actually programmed. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Then you're obedient. You're obedient to what it is they need you to do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm a rebel. I'm outspoken. I don't care what anybody tells me. You can't say this or this is legal. I don't care. I live by morals. I don't live by any of your laws. Do you know that?
Exactly.
No way. I learned over here, right? I got attacked with a terrorist and stabbed in the head, by the way. People don't know this, right?
Wow.
And they put me to prison, right, because I called them a jihadi. And
wow.
I got stabbed right in the temple. The person tried to kill me, right? But because I said that one word, I beat the case. But for that, I never trusted governments. I never trust nothing, right? And I'll never, ever let that happen ever again.
Yeah, man. Ugh.
4 months. 4 months I was called a racist. I was called this, that, another, right? And I was a victim. But guess what? It opened my eyes up, right? And now I'll never be a victim again, right? And I'll never allow that to happen again.
That's right.
It gave me the power, right, to open my head up and say, nah, because the government has counter-terrorism and all the rest of it. They put me in a courtroom, right? I'm the only white person there, right? Then they put me in a gang wing on my own, and I was only the white person there in a prison, right? On a gang wing. Getting called a racist.
Wow.
Right? And they put me on there, right? They thought I was going to get killed or something like that, but what they didn't realise is I'm Scottish, and see, when you're right. Yeah. And I warned them all. I told them all straight in that prison. I said, I ain't no racist. I said, the first person that calls me a racist is getting it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can't
They'll
stand
do that
it.
to you.
Oh no, like I'm not small either. I'm 6'4", right? I'm about 280, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always had to fight for everything, right? All my life, right? I grew up I grew up in a society, right? It was full of drugs, alcohol, no jobs, no nothing, right? So I've seen it. I had to leave Scotland to get away from all that because I could not stand staying in that same town and replaying history, right, over and over and over, right? A father's father sitting in a town that's dead. I had to leave.
Right.
I had to get out, right, and see the world, right, because that place was just hell.
Yeah, I get it. I come from a place like that too. I get it. You gotta leave. You gotta leave
Yeah.
and see other things, experience other things, so you don't
And
get
it
drugged
opens
down
your
in that.
mind up. It opens your mind up to all the different cultures and all the different, like, I went to all Europe. I went to
Exactly.
Russia. Uh, I just, you know what? I just got fed up, grabbed a backpack, and thought, "Boof, I'm gone." But it was
Yes.
good because you know what? I've learned so much about different cultures, different places. I learned more about myself, right? See, when you're taking out your environment, right? I learned more about myself then than just being in a hateful place.
Yeah. That's what I envy about out there is that we're landlocked out here, so we go either north to Canada or south to Mexico or South America, which is still great places to go. But you have so much more diversity out there,
I'm
and
just
you
in a
you
little
can go
island.
see a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just in a little island, right? But you know what? Even this little island, right? If you just go 50 miles down the road, there's a different culture there.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a different dialect. There's a different way of living, right? It's crazy.
yeah. True, true, true. I mean, I guess we do have that here, but it's still under the same rule. You know what I mean? It's under the same thing that you're trying to get away from, which is this our government here. And once again, I mean, because I know I said government 1,000 times, but I just making the point that it's not necessarily being anti-government. I just understand what they're doing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
understand what they're doing. So, and I'm
Well,
not on board for a lot of it.
I would love to sit in front of the government, right? Just ask them 10 questions, just 10 simple questions, right?
Hmm.
Right? To see how they would answer them. I bet they couldn't answer them.
Yeah.
Because they don't even know how to fill their cars up, right? At a petrol pump. Do you know what I mean? They don't even know how much it costs to buy a sandwich at the shop, right?
You're right.
Because they get everything done for them, right? They've not got a
Yeah.
clue how we live. They've not
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
clue
Yeah.
what debts are like. They've not got a clue. You worry about putting the heating on when it's cold. They've not got a clue. You worry about all the things that we worry about, right? Is nothing to them,
Oh
and
yeah.
they couldn't even comprehend it. Hen what we have to go through, right? That's why I hate money, right? I'd rather go to nature. I'd rather have an axe in my hand right now, chopping wood, right, and be on this phone with you right now.
Right.
Do you know that?
Exactly.
I'd rather be around nature. I'd rather build myself a nice little log cabin right in the Highlands, right? Make myself a wee lake, make myself a little veg patch and all the rest of it like that, right? Flower bed and all that, right? And I could happily live the rest of my life like that, right? And die
Exactly.
happy,
Exactly.
being around nature.
And
That's
that's
not
that.
much in life.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said, that's not much to ask for in life. You know that?
Yeah, yeah, you should be allowed that at the very least. And when you look at it, like you can't. It's I don't know how it is out there, but out here in America, you can't just live on the land. Like you probably should be able to, but you can't do it. They won't allow you to. You go in the
No?
woods, you have to camp on a campsite. Like everything is so controlled here, and I'm sure it's like that other places too. But
I like about Scotland is you got the right to access, right? Even though they don't like to admit it, right? It's in their stature. We've got the right to access places, even though they say it's private. And nevertheless, it's as long as it's not their private residency.
yeah,
Do you
I
know that?
mean
But you
they
could go
have
into
that
land,
here.
you could do stuff, right? As long as you tied up your mess at the back of you, right? Then it's fine.
Yeah, they
Nobody will
have
stop
that
me.
here. It's called
Yeah.
BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, where you can go and you don't have to ask permission to camp or set up, but you can't stay too long, and
Yeah,
that's the
that's the
thing.
thing. People
Yeah,
book the after it, right? And they spoil it for everybody else, right? It doesn't cost nothing to say, right? Look, I'm passing by for a night or two. Can I camp in the parts of the woods, have a little fire and everything like that? It costs you nothing.
yeah, but see, it just like if we're going back to the way that it was, then you should be able to build on whatever plot of land you feel like building
Well, the
on.
thing is, we don't own the land. Even if you do own your land, the government owns it.
Right.
Everybody forgets about that, right? As we don't own nothing. We don't even own the money. We don't even the clothes on your back, everything you've got, right? Unless you've done it with your own hands out there, right?
Right.
Even at that, the government says we own that. We put a tax on that. Do you know that?
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody thinks, oh, you can beat the government, all the rest of that. You cannot beat a system that was designed to beat you. Never.
Couldn't have said it any better than that. Can't be the system that's designed to beat you. That's it.
You get rid
summed
of
it
the
up.
money. You get rid of the money. There's 99% of the control all gone overnight. Both. You make a society that shares, right, and on an equal playing field, right, which is never going to happen. Not in our lifetimes, and probably not for another few thousand years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years, right?
Right.
But that society would be a better society, but there's always going to be somebody that's want to be greedy, right, and take what somebody else has got, right, and jealousy, right? And that's the problem with your nature, right? We always want what we can't have, right? We always get jealous, we always get vindictive, we always get hateful, right? And that's because it's drummed into us, right? And this brainwashed, stupid society.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're right. You're
I'm
totally
sorry
right.
for saying all these things, right? But these are the sort
No.
of things I've thought my whole life, right? I've never felt a part of society at all because society never wanted me. I don't want society. Great.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You are spot on. Actually, you are spot on, man. I feel the same way you feel too. I mean, I feel exactly the way that you feel about it, and it's like it won't. It's sad. It's sad because it likely won't change in our lifetime. So we will. This will be all that we know until we leave here. Um, and we can only hope that it just gets better for our descendants, just the kids we leave behind. Like we can only hope it gets better for them. Maybe they get to see, hopefully, something different. I
What
mean,
worries me is, if we leaving our descendants our crap, do you know that? Because everything that we do, right, affects them, right? And everything they do affects their children. And it's like history repeats itself over and over and over.
yeah, yeah. And it's only really, I mean, if you think about it, it's only been this bad for the last few hundred years
Well, if
on
you
this
lived
level.
in Britain, your society is only a few hundred years old, right? You seen
It's
what's
true.
happened in Britain, right, for thousands of years, right?
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
know what my nation went through? Scotland is everybody's always trying to take it over, try to kill, rape, pillage, right? For thousands of years, right? We've had to stand up there and fight for it.
Right.
Always. We've
That's
had
the
that. We've had that for so long, right? It still goes on to this day. People don't
yeah.
see it. England dictates everything. Well, they think they do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Everywhere is has a deeper history than we do here. Our history, our history
Well,
is literally only a couple hundred years, 300 years old.
I know, and the worst it is to, right, is all the worstness has been put out of your country, right? All the things that you are doing, right, were all the stuff that was going on here, right? And America's a mixture, uh, all different races, right, and all the rest of it. But our systems have been intertwined, right, all the way through, right?
Yes.
And that's the problem, right? That system is the same system, right? Which is here, which is in any developed country, that system is never changed.
Yeah. Yeah, we pulled this up. Yeah, we just changed it a little bit, and but it's basically the same. Yeah, I agree.
And
I
that's
agree.
what, you know what? Everybody goes, oh, democracy is this, democracy is that. Aye, we can walk and talk and say stuff and be more free, but we're not free.
Yeah,
We're not.
exactly. It's an illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, uh, if you're that free, right, how could you tell a copper not to kill a boy that's getting strangled to death, right? On the street, for instance, right? That poor boy that died, right, getting choked with that
Yeah.
copper, right? And everybody said, how could you not tell that copper to say, no, stop that?
Exactly. Exactly.
They're the
It's
biggest gang in all the police. Don't trust none of them.
yeah, 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 yeah. They're above the law,
They're a
and
legal gang. They're a legal gang, right? They suppress us all the time. They break every single constitution or laws you've got in the country, right? And they use it because they've got a stupid badge and a hat, right?
right,
And they forget they work for us.
right,
But the problem is, like anything, right? Like any gang, right? You got a leader, right? And you go with whatever they say. They don't go with your laws. I'm glad it's coming out now, some of it, right? But at the end of the day, the government's sanctioning all this.
right.
The
Exactly.
agencies are sanctioning it all, right? Who gives anybody the power, right? Like we've got agencies, like you've got the CIA and the FBI, right? And we've got MI5, MI6 and that. Who gives them the power, right, to take life?
Exactly. Man, I think about that every day,
Well,
every
the,
single day.
well, the thing is, and just because you can't take a life, right? Is it no better catching than, like, say, for instance, all these leaders suppress and we take them over and put them in a prison, right? And make them an example, right? And give them next to nothing and make them suffer the rest of life? No, they'd rather kill them, right? Killing doesn't solve nothing, right? Re-educating, right? Or making an example, right? Or learning to it, right? Is the best way to go, right? But no, we just think of the easy route. Oh, look, we take what away. You take away one problem, you add a million problems at the back of it, right?
Right, man.
I
It's
know
all
this is
bad,
deep.
man.
This
It
is deep.
is. It is. It is. It is, and it's sad. Oh my god, it's depressingly sad, man. Is what it is.
But we could do so much good in this world, right? You see how much goodness is in us, right?
Yeah,
And yet the bad always outshines the good. And I've never understood that my whole life. A
yeah,
simple, a simple kind reaction could be like a wave that goes through a whole town, a whole city and everything. But no, for every little good action, right? There are always 50, 100 bad actions, right? It makes that not happen.
exactly. And then here's the flip side to all that, right? Good people. We know there's a lot of us out there, but speak out, speak out about it, like we're doing right now, and then guess what happens?
I know. But bring it on. As I say, bring it on. You're not going to shut me up. It doesn't matter what you do to me, right? Here, unless you cut my tongue out, right? Burn my throat closed, right? I've still got hands. I can still write it, right? You can take my eyes and take my hands, right? I'll find some way to do it. You never shut me up. The problem
Exactly.
is, you gave me all the tools. You indoctrinated me into your brainwashed society. I'm not a part of it no more, right? And I see it for what it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. But and you're right. I mean, this is just and that's what I said. I mean, because even just talking about the UFO subject is something that anything that can rock their boat is something that you can become target behind from them.
Right.
And it's UFOs. It's just speaking in the way like we're speaking right now, which is just all truthful. Everything. There's no lies have been told tonight. These are all truths. But
Well, that's
because it's something that can wake other people up, then that's when they put in the plan to shut it all down. Shut it all
well,
down. Cut the feed.
all I'm going to say about these UFOs and everything, they've been visiting us in every single culture for the dawn of time, for anything that was written, right? Cave painting, all the way back in every culture, right? We've been visited at all different times, right? It's not a new thing, this, right?
Mm-mm.
Everybody thinks this is a new thing, right? These stuff have been reported, right? And our ancestors. It's just we've forgotten. We've forgotten that knowledge that was passed down over the campfires, right?
Yeah.
Over the village meetings, over the elders, we've forgotten all this, right? Because we were brainwashed. We were untaught the truth.
Right.
And we were given a narrative, right? It is a load of bullshit. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I hate to watch what I say. I like to swear a lot, right? I try not to when I'm on other people's channels, but
yeah, no, I mean it makes you want to though. It makes you want to. I mean, and that's it's just how you feel.
it's not that. It's like every time something happens, right? 100 years later, right? We're taught to forget.
Well,
And then
you think about it.
You think what's happening right now in our schools, well, this woke crap and all the rest of it, and that people need to wake up to all that. That's seriously dangerous, right? That is going to mess up generations after generation. What for dirty old paedophile, rich, stupid celebrity loving crap? Do you know that? I'll say it how it is. I don't care what anybody says about that, whether trannies try to go into public toilets aside women and kids and all the rest of that. No way.
Right.
There's no way in hell I'll allow that to happen, right? Here, even though I don't like family values, I say bring back the family values, right?
Right.
We've forgotten them. We have forgotten them, right? I come from the 80s. I'm in the 80s,
Yeah, me too.
right? And I miss the days. Honestly, I miss the days, right, of the 80s. Because it was so much simpler, right? It was so much, even though you were getting indoctrinated into all the church life and all the rest, it still had a message. There was still a message there, even though you don't agree with it all. There was still a fundamental message there, right? And all that's been forgotten.
And the claws weren't as locked in as they are now. Like because we're so advanced, because our governments are so advanced militarily at this point in time, like it wasn't even close to that in the 80s. So as far as the thought of losing power is not a thing today because they know they have whatever it takes to take care of all of us if they really wanted to. And that goes back to a theory, right? Because just like you said, we've forgotten over time, and we keep forgetting the stories over campfires. And you have to ask yourself, like, why were we those civilizations brought down? Because if you think about it, when we look back to like some of the most ancient, what we consider advanced civilizations, just think if those civilizations would have been able to continue all the way through till today, where we would actually be at today.
Well, look what they say. What goes up must come down.
Yeah.
You know that? It must. You cannot. It's like animals. It's like the dinosaur, for instance, right?
Yeah.
You can only get so much big. You can only grow so much big, right? There only be so much, right? Then one little disaster like an asteroid takes it all out.
Yeah, I mean, or some sort of population control situation, or
Well, that's happening.
Yeah,
You know that's happening right now. And you know what I worry about all the jabs and all the rest of it? I don't care what anybody else thinks, but I know, right? Are they targeting certain genes to wipe out certain races, right? Because of COVID, they got all our bloods, by the way. Well, they never got mine because I never got none of it, and I never got COVID the whole time.
Wow.
That whole time, right? And they taking your bloods and they experimenting on a gene thing so they can attack you. So they don't even need to attack you with weapons or nukes or anything like that, right? They attack you through your blood because you infect one race with that gene in it, right? that can infect that whole other race, right? It's got the genes in them.
Jeez.
Think about it that way, right? That's easy. We can
deep.
do that right now. We can do
Yeah.
that way back for the 40s.
That's true.
Do you know that?
That's true.
Why would you need to push a button, right? When you just infect one person, right? Chuck them out a plane, right? Everybody rushes round, takes that body to a morgue, boom. He takes it home to his wife, he takes it home to his kids go to school. The school goes out, they go to hospitals, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, like something we just went through, right? Just a couple years ago.
And this is what worries me is, right, is they could do that to us now, right? They're not illusioning that. It's already happening. They could do that.
Exactly. Oh, I'm with you, man. I'm 100% with you on that,
That's
man.
what worries me. That's why I never got no jobs. That's why I don't take no crappy pills. I don't even do nothing. I don't even take a headache tablet, right? Do you know that?
Yeah.
Because
You never know what's in it.
they trust. Well, by the way, your body's got a natural immune system in it or not. It
True,
protects itself.
true.
And
True.
in nature, survival of the fittest, right?
It's true. We'll never get that back. Well, I'm not gonna say never. In our
I don't know.
lifetime, we may not get that back.
I would love to be one of the African tribes that are away for civilization, or one of the Amazon tribes that are away for everybody, right? And living how you should live, right? Or on these isolated islands, I would love to be one of them, right? Because they know what true nature is.
Yeah. Forgot where that it's a North Sentinel Island. Have you ever seen that? The Sentinelese. Yeah, they've been trapped there. They migrated from Africa like 70,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And have been on that island untouched.
Aye. Then
like,
you've got idiots like us.
How lovely is that?
Then you've got idiots like us that want to go and make communication. One cold could kill them.
Exactly.
Yeah, they should be left, right? If they want to come out and reach it to us, fine, like we've always done, right? We've moved to place to place to place. If they want to live in this society, we'll leave them be, right? Because that should be an example for us all. This is how we were meant to live.
That's probably, I mean, I'm sure there's other little pockets like that, but those are the last frontiers where there isn't any rule like that, where you can just do what you want to do with your life.
If you were like, say, these Neanderthals, kind of people believe they're wild people out there, right? In Russia, United States, Amazon, or the rest of it. You're a wild person, right? And you come across us, and we're walking in our clothes like normal, our shoes, our everything. And you see us like a bunch of teenagers attacking one person or mugging people. Would you want anything to do with it?
Right.
Would you not teach whatever language you are, right, to say you stay away?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be a part of that. You would be in fear. Imagine the fear we install into everything, right? We destroy everything. Everybody goes on about everybody else. But us as humans, we destroy all the goodness, right? We just can't help ourselves.
Kind of parasitic. Yeah, we're parasitic for sure. Oh man.
And that's what makes me wonder, right? We were given knowledge that we shouldn't have had, right? We advanced like that in 120 years, how much we've advanced. Wherever that knowledge comes from, right, it's destroying us. It's eating at us. It's killing everything we are, right?
Right. You're on point, dog, man. You're on point. Straight
I'm
up.
just a normal everyday guy, by the way. I'm not into, like, you all research all this stuff and everything, right? I'm not into that. This is just what I see for my whole life growing up, because I ain't seen nothing. Do you know that? I've always felt a part of nature. I've always felt alive in nature. Do you know that? Nature, yeah. I come alive. I'm suppressed living this life. But when I'm in nature, oh my God, it's something else. It's a freedom you cannot buy. It's a feeling, right? You're in touch with everything. You come alive. The more you're away from society, the better.
Oh man, I'm gonna take that advice. I need something like that, man. I need to get away.
Honestly, you ever get a chance? right? Even if
Yeah.
it's for a month, go somewhere, right? Don't worry about, these pictures going to get you, UFOs are going to find me. Go and be who you're meant to be, right? Go out there, see what nature's all about, feel it, live off the land, right? It's not hard. It's
Yeah.
simple, right? It just takes a wee bit of knowledge, right? Build a shelter, right? Get your nails dirty, right? Rub the dirt
Right.
on your face, right? Here, see how nature is, right? And take that back with you, that knowledge, right? It changes you. See, I grew up in the Highlands, so I was a part of nature the whole time. I walked it all.
Man.
I
I'm
used to
gonna
disappear. I used to disappear at 5-year-old, right? And go, and nobody used to send out search parties and everything, because that's what I was taught for a kid. To go out there, make shelters, make fires, right? Yeah, it's great. Live off the land.
That's the new thing. That's what man, I'm gonna start doing that, man. I'm gonna start doing exactly that. For that
Even one
very
day,
reason.
even one day. Everybody could take one day of their life, take a holiday, just for one day, go out in nature, park your car, walk about 20, 30, 40 mile if you can, right, or a few mile, right,
Mm-hmm.
away in nature, not holiday parks or national parks. Go to nature,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Not that, because that's man-made. That's man-orchestrated, right? Go to actual nature
Yeah, yeah. Good advice.
and see nature for what it is, right? Because it changes you. It gives you that feeling, honestly, that feeling, right? It's something you can't buy, right? It's better than any drug, anything you could think of, right? When you're a part of that, because you've not got all the worries of all this. And don't take your phone and don't do all that sort of stuff, right? Obviously, if you've got wild predators and all that in your area, take protection. But here, I don't care if they're wild predators or not, because I know what to do. There's certain things it's easy.
Right. Speaking them, man, spitting that stuff, man. I love it. I love it. That's what people need to know, man. That's like priceless advice right there. Truthfully.
You put me anywhere in the world, right? I'll survive, right? You know why? You
Yeah,
want to
cause
know
you,
why?
well, cause you got, you're determined to continue on.
Well, that's one point, right? Because the land provides for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just sit back, you're going to die, right?
Sure. Yeah.
If you learn the land, right, and you learn what you know, right, and you don't eat everything, you don't pick up everything, right? First of all, you don't need to worry about food. You need to worry about shelter and water, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your two most simple steps, right? Warmth and water. Without these things, you're dead.
Right. Right. Right.
You could bypass a couple of weeks just that because your body will look after itself.
Man, that's good advice, man. Because most people wouldn't even think of that. Most people don't even consider doing that.
Well, the thing is, if society falls, right, you're going to need to think about doing it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You're going to need to be prepared, right? And even the knowledge, of even doing a simple little thing as a fire, right, in a wet forest, right? Oh,
That's
you could have
true.
all the tools. You could have lighters. You could have this. You could have that, right? You keep that fire going. It's the hardest thing in the world.
Right. 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 That's true, man. That's
That's a
true.
knowledge that everybody could teach their kids, right? And everything. I got taught when I was a kid. I got taught how to light fires with certain things, right? You don't need a lighter. You don't need nothing. You just need to know what works. You need to be taught it, but you need to be taught it for a young age so you could pass it on.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And
Man.
cleansing water, you need to be taught what stagnant water is, right? For what water is good enough to drink too. You
Right.
need to be taught these are all simple things, right? That are never taught at school. They should be taught at school for the earliest age. Forget about
Yeah.
your numbers, forget about your English, forget about all this, everything, right? Life skills should be taught first. Then these things should come later.
Oh, if they taught you that, you wouldn't need them.
Well, that's the whole point.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, no, we're not going to teach you to live on your own. We need you to depend on us.
Well, think about it. a simple thing like boiling seawater, isn't it, for boiling seawater, right? At the end of that boiling that seawater, what have you got? One thing that we need, right, is that salt. That salt could be taken anywhere,
Right.
miles to that sea, right? We don't have that salt, we die.
Facts. Facts.
That's why I'd rather, if anything ever happens, I'd rather be around the coastline, right? Because coastline's easier to survive, right?
Right.
Because the seasons don't work how they work on land.
Look, and Black Dragon is making a great point, saying don't report roadkill. They could say that you were poaching, and yeah, I mean, in that Baggy M10, life skills and critical thinking. And Black Dragon says, I know a lady who hit a deer and she got fined for hunting without a license, which is the craziest thing that you could. You should be able to hunt because you're an animal. You know what I mean? You're a mammal. You should be able to do this to eat. So it's just crazy how things like that, they put restrictions and limits on. You can't put up a place to shelter for too long. Like all your basic things that you should be able to do, like your God-given right, really, to do these things, and they take it away from you, and they fine you, and they put you in jail for living on your own, for living without being. You have to be plugged in the system. You have to be.
That's because it's their indoctrinated crap laws. Do you know that?
It's just
what is a law? What is a law, right? It's meant to be there. It's a law only works for the smaller in society. If you're rich, you've got enough money to pay judges and pay lawyers and pay you get away with murder if you're rich or a celebrity or somebody that's in a position of power, right? But everyday people, we get fucked up the ass.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. And you know, we've been as humans, we've been fishing since the beginning of time. And they fine you for that. You have to get a license. You have to pay them to fish. Something we've been doing from since day one.
Well, if we stop using these stupid supermarkets, right, and these stupid pre-packaged things and processed food, right, and actually do what we're meant to do, right, we'd be a lot healthier.
Yeah.
We would be a lot more in tune with nature. We would be a lot more happier, right?
Oh man, this is a world. I wish we. I mean, it man.
Right. I'm gonna say this, right, for all you religious people, right? Everybody goes on about hell, heaven, and earth, right? Who's to say we're not living in hell right now and we don't know it?
It seems like it, man. It really does.
There's so much good that we could do, right? But there's so much bad we could do. There's so much evil, right? It's all designed, right? Just to attack us, bring us down, stop us from even talking like this. I don't care what anybody says. I'll say what I want when I want. Nobody will stop me.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel the same way. That's why I opened this forum up like this, you know, because, you know, with live calls, you never know what you're going to get. But as long as we're talking about things that, I mean, these are just facts. You know what I mean? And if you get penalized for speaking facts, then hey, I'm willing to do that. So
same with me. I don't care. Same with you when I do this, that, and other. It's still not going to stop me speaking. In fact, it's going to make me speak more, right, to the point when they learn, right, that it ain't going to work.
Right. But you know what they do. Their tools are a shadow ban or
yeah. Luckily, I don't care about nothing all that like that, right? Because guess what? You can shadow ban. Yeah, if they take away my channel, I'll just make another channel. Simple.
True.
It's not hard. Yeah, their system. They've got a system. They've got an agenda, right? And you know what? I haven't got an agenda, right? All my thing is just about the truth. Coming to truth together, right? Before all the bullshit, misinformation, lies, right? It's out there, right? And try and help others, right? And in turn help myself too.
Right.
That's not hard. That is not a hard thing, right, to do, right? That's just a basic thing to do, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy, man. And you're man. I love it. I love where your head is at. I love where your head is at, man.
See, I'm a wild card. I'm on the outside because like I'm not involved in any of this. Like, you know, a lot of yous have been researching, a lot of yous thinking this is just how I live, this is just how I think.
yeah.
I see it how it is. I what I see, right, and what's going on, right, I see it how it is, right, without no preconceived ideas.
Right. Exactly.
And if people don't like me for it, I don't care if people like me or believe me or anything like that. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass either, right? I'm here to help people, right? Get on with people, right? Build a community with people, right? See the people that don't like me? Their problem, not mine. I don't worry about it. Who cares?
Man. Everybody needs a friend like Dogman UK, man.
Hey,
Cause
I'll
it,
give
cause
everything. I'll support anybody. I'll take everything I own, right? I'll give everything away, right? Just to help that person who suffer, right? Yeah. I don't care about nothing, right? Because I've had nothing. I've been through hell and back, right? I know what it's like, right? Just helping one
yeah.
person, right? Uh, help one person, and I was to die tomorrow, I would die happily, right? Helping that person, right? Standing up for that little guy, standing up for that weak person that's suffering and going through hell, right? Because I couldn't live with myself every day knowing that that's going on, and I never said nothing
Yeah.
or done
Yeah.
something to help.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm just a
Yeah.
crazy. Well, people think I'm crazy Scotsman, right? But they hear what they want to hear, right? But I'm just here, right, like everybody else, right? Trying to find out the truth, right? Also try to help people and all the rest of it. There's some it's not. There's some it's snakes in the grass, right?
Yeah. Yes.
There's some it's mingling with people pretending to be their friends to get stories, to get money, to get this, to get views and all the rest of it like that. See, I
Right.
see through all that. Because I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not enough. I'm just me. Just me.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I love it. That's why I love it. Just being real, just being you, and yeah, I love it.
And
I
everybody that
love it.
knows me, like everybody that knows me will tell you the same, right? I don't care what anybody thinks, right? I don't worry about all that stuff, right? That's how we're taught to worry about what stupid, indoctrinated individuals think, right? Haters, trolls, all the rest of it. Bring it on. I couldn't care. I'll tell you straight. Yeah. I'm not the one. I'm not the one you push. You don't push my buttons, right? Because for everything you say, right, I've got about 10 words back.
Man. And when you come into the United States, dog, man, we're gonna have to
I
hang out,
can't.
man.
I've got a criminal record. I'm not allowed. I've tried.
Oh,
They won't let me.
wow, dude. Okay. Oh my God, that's just another thing, man.
I've never, apart from going to jail for getting stabbed for calling that boy a jihadi, right? Uh, I've never went to prison since 2007. That was in Scotland for fighting with the police and all the rest of it like that. Because they were kicking the shit out of boys. So I grabbed a copper and they smacked me, so I smacked them back.
Yeah, Susie B has a plan. She said, "Let's go visit him." Yeah, we may have to do that. We have to come
You
out
caused
there.
riots. Imagine us all pulling together. The government would be an alert. Ding, ding, ding. The bells have rung. Let's go to Westminster, everybody. Yeah.
I love it,
Go to St
man.
James's Park, right? We all camp it there, right? And tell the government, fuck you.
I love it. Neil has a great idea. SOR UK Tour 2024. Man, if we can get it to grow to that point, I already know Dave would be down to do that for sure. So hopefully, we, SR is growing too right now. So, hopefully we can get it to a point to where we can go overseas. God,
Well,
man, I hate you.
it's
Say it
good that I
again.
get to speak to all yous, right? Because yous are on America, right? A different culture from mine and everything like that, right? And we've all got the same message. It's just spread differently, right? Your
Yeah.
societies work differently.
Yes.
Here, you know what? They're not much here. There are a few people that speak it here, right? But they're not much that's got the balls to turn around and tell people straight, right? Luckily, you got a little person like me. I don't care. I'll stand up to anybody. I've nothing. I've nothing to gain. I've nothing to hide, right?
Yeah.
I, I've nothing to prove, right? I've just like, do you know when you sit back all the time, right? You watch everything, then things happen, right? And you see things for what they really are, right? The
Right.
truth needs to come out, right, to save us all.
Right. Right. It does, man. And you're a key player, man. You're a key player in that. You know what I'm saying? Your attitude,
Oh,
your message,
I got
that
attacked. I got attacked by people, by the way. People don't see it, right? I got attacked, but I go and confront them right away. I don't care how big their channels are. That means nothing to me. If it was face to face, they were in front of me, I'd put the fear of God in them. Trust. Yeah, they'll learn that I don't mess about. But at the same time, right, just because you can't do something doesn't mean to say you should too, right?
right. Man.
But I stand up for the little guy, the weak people, the people that's getting bullied, right, harassed, right, picked on, all the rest of it, right?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
always on. If anybody ever messages me, I always message back, right? Sometimes I don't get my notifications, right, or people get banned from my channel for some reason, right, which I've never understood. Do you know that? But I always
No.
help anybody. I always respond to anybody, right? I always support people, right? I won't support them, right? It's out there on channels, right, or hating on others and stuff like that. I won't entertain it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. We covered that too. And there's a lot of that out there. I'm gonna have to. I didn't know you had the channel, man. I'm gonna have to subscribe. Actually.
I'm just a little guy. I've only been on here, what, about gone on 5 months?
Oh man. Let me see. I'm trying to bring
I'm
it
just
up.
new. I'm just a noob. I didn't know what I was doing at the start, but now,
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. 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 You're right here. I'm about to subscribe. I'm subscribing right now.
thank you. I had you subscribed, like I have everybody subscribed. Only the good ones, sir.
Ah, okay. I see what you're doing over here, dog man. Okay. I like it, man. I like
My,
it.
my message is plain and clear before all the bullshit, right? Yeah. I'm not into all that bullshit. I'm not into money. I'm not into nothing, right? I'm into helping people, right? And helping myself and trying to come to a conclusion together. And I've actually got proof.
Yeah. I like that, man. The truth don't lie. I like that.
Well, it's a simple statement. I've had that for the start. That's what I put. It's true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that, dog, man. I didn't know you had this, man. I like
Yes,
this.
I've been the silent one in the background, right? A lot of people don't know I've got a channel. A lot of people has
Man.
been supporting it lately, right? I've been plugging away at this on my own, right? Going up against all them, starting and hating on them, hating
Yeah,
on me.
yeah, yeah. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, man. We're gonna have to collabo then, man.
Yeah.
Gonna have to collab. I like that, dog, man. And you should have a platform. You should have definitely a podium and a platform to speak from.
I just
So,
do it differently than anybody else because I don't aspire to be like anybody else, right? I've done all this myself, had no help, right? Apart
right.
from me trying to get a message at the start. I was going through hell getting terrorized by dogmen around my home. That's how it started with me.
Ah, okay.
And when I took control, that's when I started going out and finding evidence, right? And finding what works and what doesn't work, right? And now people's opening up and actually coming to me and everybody's sharing their ideas, right? And helping each other, right? And that's exactly why I done it.
Ah, yeah. I'm looking through your channel right now. I'm gonna have to check out some vids, man.
Right, they're not conventional. Some of them are like me swearing and all the rest of it because I get frustrated, right, when I get attacked, right, and all the rest of it. But at the same time, I've got a message in there for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I just
You
do it
got
my
a
own
lot
way.
of videos.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of them haven't been seen. A lot of them, all the way for the start. At the start, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't have an absolute clue. But now I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. I know how to put the message across. I know how to show people my evidence now. I know how to make up videos. I know how to show the pictures and stuff like that. Because I'm all self-taught.
Lovely. I'm liking it. I'm gonna have to binge watch. I'm gonna have to binge watch your channel now, man. So now I'll be able to come back and tell you some stuff about your channel.
Yeah. See, I don't just like do that, right? I go around and support other channels. I hardly sleep. I work 14 hours a day. Then I come, and plus when I'm at my work, I still do all this.
Right.
Do you know that? Because whatever happened to me woke me up, right? It took me out of this illusion, right? And now my head's like a sponge. I can't stop learning. I can't stop sharing. I can't stop trying to help others. I can't stop trying to be a part of something because I know something's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but something's coming.
I'm with you. Excuse me.
I just do it with a little bit of a Scottish flair. As you can see, there's nobody else like me.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's exactly the way that I am. I'm up.
And the only reason I'm in here talking to you right now is because I heard your message. I don't just jump into people's channels, right? Jump in their life. People, people that's messaged me, I've had hundreds of people message me, come on, we'll collab together, we'll do stories, we'll do this and everything. Send me your evidence, send me your stories. No. Go and do your own, go and do your own work. Do you know what I mean? I put it all up to show people before all the bullshit, right, on my channel. Go and actually get off your lazy fat asses. Go on my channel, hear my stories, right? Or my encounters, right? I hate that word story. Actually, that story word pees me off, right? Because it's not a story, right, when it's happening to you, when you're suffering it.
That's
do you know
true.
that?
That's
It's
true.
a lot more than a story, right? It's
true.
just we word it that way, right? But see, when you're going through hell and you don't understand what the hell you're going through, and I reached out to people and nobody would help me, by the way. All they kept saying is, send me email, give me your phone number, what's your name, right? What do you do? Where do you stay, right? Can I come and meet you? I'll come right now. No, it doesn't work like that, right? Get off your lazy fat arses, right? Go and actually do some investigation. I provide all the tools there, right? Doesn't take a genius to work it, right?
Yeah, and I'm putting your link in the comments.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
But I just try and, you know what? I said for the start, I'm not going to hide anything for anybody, right? I'm not doing it for money. I'll never do all that crap for money and all the rest of it like that, right? I'm doing it to help. And to help myself. Because
Definitely.
I hate it when people suffer and go through this crap like I had to go through, right? Lucky I'm strong enough, right? Big enough and ugly enough to look after myself, right? And I come to terms with it, right?
Exactly.
And I put back control, right? But a lot out there, it's not got a clue what they're doing. They get discouraged, they get bullied, they get picked on, they get disbelieved, right? And that, well, see all them. They're not alls. I'll tell them straight, you know nothing. You think you know everything, right? Even if I knew everything in the world, right? I'm still questioning it and think, do I really know anything? That's why I always say I know nothing.
Yeah, none of us do. We're definitely learning on the way, and I don't hide that fact. You know, I know what I know, but I know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. If that makes any sense.
Well, recently I've been kicked out a few channels for asking questions, for asking true questions, true fact questions, right? Or timed it and everything. Why do people like to say, oh, they're BS, right? But they don't like to get questioned on it, right?
Oh yeah, wow, yeah.
Come and ask me anything, right? If I don't know, I ain't going to tell you it, right? I'll tell you fact. I'll tell you what I know, right? I'll tell you every single detail, right, for the start of all this, right? But I also tell you, I could not tell you nothing apart from what I see, what I experience, what photos I take, what videos I take, right? Apart from that, right, I cannot tell you what these things are, what I'm going through, all the rest. I can only tell you what's happening to me, right? That's it. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Like, people sitting saying, oh, they're talking to you, they're doing all this, or they're this, that. No. Well, not in my experience, they're not.
Yeah.
That's why I just like to show it for just straight facts, right? I'm not going to lie. What's the point? What's the point of me doing all this, right? I've not got time to be mucking about, right, in my life, right?
Right.
I work hard. I should be resting, all the rest of it, and these bloody things are all about me, right? And I can't help it, they're here, right? It's part of my life now. I can't change it. I can't unsee it now, right? But I could certainly get the word out there, right? Certainly spread the message, right? To just be aware of you, to be aware they're real, right? And they're not all bad. I don't care what anybody says. They're not all bad.
Yeah, I want to look into that, and that's a part that I haven't looked into. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do with your channel. I'm gonna bring myself up to speed on that, and try. You know, I haven't experienced it.
As you can see, right, I've never done nothing like this before, right? In my whole entire life, right? As you see, I'm not doing this for nothing, right? I'm determined to find out the truth. I'm determined to find out what works to help people and what doesn't work, right? Because I'm sick to death of hearing all this misinformation, right? Do this, do that, do that. This works, that works, that works, right? Well, it might work for you, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
And even a little bit of information, right, could go far, right, to help others, right, that are suffering. Because there are loads of people that come to me that's never spoken. There are loads of people that's got channels that's come to me, right? I've had their channels because they get attacked on a daily basis. I love it when they attack me, by the way, right? They don't realise that our Scottish society don't put up with that crap. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care, right? I don't even care if you're God, right? You tell me something that's wrong, you're getting told back. Simple.
Yeah. Oh man, awesome, dude.
I don't mean to be so blunt and all the rest of it, right? But I'm like the wild card. I'm like the wild card, right? I always question everything. I question myself sometimes. Do you know that? I think this can't be real. No way in hell. You're in a dream. Everything. I sit and analyze, right? Everything I've got to analyze, right? I go through it. It's like a revolving record that goes on and on and on and on, right?
Right.
But I try and think, right, what can I do to help others in all this, right? Rather than being selfish and just do it to help myself.
Exactly. That's
and I hope everybody can see that. I hope everybody can see that, right? And I'll stand up for anybody, right? If they're getting picked on, bullied, right, victimised, all the rest of it, I don't care, right? I'll say it. I've already said it. To loads of people, I stood up to loads of big channels. Try to start on a little channel like me. Who do they think they are? God's gift. Fucking idiots, as I say. They could kiss my arse.
Yeah. I don't know you're talking about.
Well, I do. I know quite a few of them, right? But I won't name them, right? Because that's what they want, right? I won't even give them that grace, right? Because I've got the power, not them.
Yeah. I have an idea though, because I've experienced that with these channels too. Some of these channels, so. I know where you're coming from with that for sure.
I know, but like I say, I'm just new to this. I'm new to all this game, everybody. Right?
Yeah.
I won't give out my name, where I stay, all the rest of it, right? Because I've got neighbours I have to worry about, right? Elderly neighbours, right? Also, I'm not going to let these things get hunted. If they're not hunting anybody, why should I give it that information? And if I was going to give that information, I would give it to authorities. I wouldn't give it to every Tom, Dick and Harry, right? Because it's dangerous. You don't mess with these things, right?
Exactly.
And that's
Agreed.
That's the thing, right? Everybody think, oh, I want to see a cryptid, I want to see a UFO. Bring it on yourself. I hope you have the worst experience in your whole entire life, right? Because I'm not being funny, right? It's not a game to play, right? It's not it's not a choice, right? You think you choose to see all these things, you choose for all these things to happen, right? You don't choose it. You're not in control. They're in control.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Here, I took back control of my home, right? But when I'm in their area, they're in control, right? They choose to show themselves to me, right? I don't know what happened after the 3 weeks, and I thought, fuck this, I'm going out there and I'm telling them straight, right? And all the activity, 99% of the activity stopped for that night when I went out there and I went nuts.
I love it.
Yeah. By the way, dogmen showed their pups to me and everything like that. I've got pictures of it. Me, I'm about 7 foot in front of them. Dogman on the right at the nest, little puppy on the left. Right? Now, if that animal's that bad, right, and they're showing they're young, right, why did it not rip my head off? Why is it not attacking me? Thing me.
Yeah. I saw some of those. That's some of those. I want to see those, man.
Yes, and people didn't even look at my stuff, right? This is what I just didn't get, right? I'm showing it all. I'm showing the original photos, and I'm showing me zooming them in, right? The name manipulation there, right? I got so much. I've got trees. I've got certain areas. I've got around my home. I filmed around my home. That's why I hate going out for a cigarette, because they're always watching me. Always watching. That's what they do best. They've got all the time in the world to watch you.
Yeah, man, that's wild, man. That's wild. Cause I'm an educator. Like I said, I want to educate myself on that part. I was just really recently introduced to the whole dog man aspect,
Well,
so I
I
haven't
don't
really
call them
looked
dogman.
into it.
I don't call them dogmen. I call them dogmen werewolves because they're different types. I've got pictures of all different types. They're traditional dog-looking ones, but then there are also ones that look like bears, size of bears, and there are other ones that's deformed, and other ones that manifest. It's not. You can't put them all in one criteria, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's not a big thing in the UK. This isn't a big thing,
You
right?
say it's
But these
not a
things have
big
been here.
thing?
No, it's not as big. Look, America's fully all here. We've got a few that speak out about it, right? But not that much.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's wow.
And me, I do something different because I'm not hiding nothing for anybody, right? I'm just showing it. That's
Right.
it. Yeah, I can say what I want, right? But see, when you've got all that to back it up with it, right? That
Exactly.
speaks for itself.
That's what I was saying. Bring you got the proof, you got the receipts. I love that. I love that. Yeah, Neil Warden agrees. Says it's not big in the UK at all, which is just bonkers that that's the case. It just really is.
Well, the thing is, but we're taught, the problem is, we're taught to fearmonger, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we just don't understand them, right? I understand, right, that I got, my first encounter, I got chased home, I got followed home, 3 weeks of hell. I took back control. I started looking out there for evidence, as you call it, boots on the ground, right? I found stuff. They present themselves. They show themselves to me sometimes they don't, right? But they're all in my area. They're all at the back of my home. They're on the fenlands around my area. In the space of 5 miles, right? I kind of know where they go. But it's coming now. The leaves are coming off the trees. The bushes are all dying back, so they're going to move further into the fenland. So I'm going to start going out doing it live. Do you know that? When my hours drop for work, I'm going to start going out and showing actual evidence, actual proof, before all the bullshit and all the rest of it like that, right? Straight fat points. Whether they don't like me filming them, pictures they do. But if I do anything wrong, or if I go there angry or anything, they're off. They're gone.
Wow. Yeah.
They've been non-aggressive to me, right? Ever since I freaked out and took back control of my home, right? They're only one I worry about. I call him Mr. Siki. Can never get that fucking on camera, right? That's the one that followed me home. That's the one that's assessed me. That's the one I worry about.
Man, that's all you can ask for.
Well, that big one, 7.5 foot, right? I know for a fact it's a male, but it's never howled at me. It's never done nothing, right? It'd be silent, but it watches me. It follows me, right? It's presence. It seems like when I'm around all these other dog men, it's like they try and protect me from someone else.
Wow. So are
I
these
can't see.
are these because I know, I mean, I've heard, obviously being on Spaced Out Radio, I've heard of the ones that some people describe, and these are like upright walking, or do they walk on all fours, or how do
Well,
they?
this is the thing. They're all different, right?
Okay.
I've never ever seen them out in the open. They're always hiding behind the bushes, right? Or fences or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They never ever present themselves like that, right? Their body movement, their body language. The most I've had out of them is a growl whistle. It goes right through your body. It's really low. I mean, it bounces off your chest. It's like somebody punching you in the heart, right?
Right. Right.
That's the most I've had with them, right? And I've seen the way when other people walk by me, their eye movement, right, changes from just being like a curious look, right, to a right evil. I mean, like they want to kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see
Yeah.
that. And I mean, when you see that, right, and one will distract me from behind, and one, wherever there's one, they're all around you. It's a guarantee one presents themselves, shows, they're all there, right? And if they want to disappear, there'll be a rustle in the bushes, there'll be someone thrown, and that they're gone. They, they never ever interact with me when I'm pissed off, right? Or they've done something to me, right? They've annoyed me, right? And I go for my walk and that. They never ever interact with me when I'm angry. Not once, because I think they know.
Jeez. Woo.
But they've never mind speak to me. They've never done nothing, right? Like that. They've never out in the wilds, out in the nest areas, out around my area. They've been non-aggressive. In their environment, they've been non-aggressive. In my home, some have been aggressive, but I think that's different. I think that's different ones. Do you know that?
Yeah. I want to. I gotta see these things, man. I gotta see them. That's crazy.
Then getting bloody orbs, things in the skies coming over, right? Then fucking orbs come in, and Dogman there with the orbs, right? Which always freaked me out.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you that. So are they? What do you feel like? What do you feel like they're? And I know I asked this probably before. Are you feel like they're terrestrial, or do you feel like they are linked to the UFOs and
Well,
orbs?
I feel like right now that most of them are living, breathing animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are connected to these other phenomenon that's gone on, right? That I can't explain. I could film it, I could take the pictures of it, but I cannot explain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have morphed out of bushes on me. I cannot explain that. Well, I mean, morphed. There's no possible way nothing big could come through a bush like that, right? Without me hearing it, right? And yet I capture it on photo, right? At morphing. And that's way back for the start when this all first started. I started getting the evidence maybe a couple of weeks into it. I never had nothing to start off with. Things were morphing, things were happening, and the lucid dreams, that's what got me. Getting a lucid dreams for a wee while, but all that stopped now when I took back control. But for the time there, I got attacked. It was like I was getting attacked in my dreams, but I don't know enough about all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And now, do you know what? I'm fearless anything. Now, I've took back control, right? I ain't going to fear nothing. Nothing's going to stop me doing what I love out in nature. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying they're not all bad, because they've had many a chance to come and attack me. They've had many a chance. Why would a mother show its young when that's the most vulnerable part?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right? To
Super
somebody like me.
protective.
It just doesn't make sense, right? And I'm so glad I got the proof, because imagine me trying to tell you the story, right? You ain't going to tell anybody if I never had proof yet. No way in hell.
And that's exactly what we were talking about the other day. It's that proof, and when you get that, you can't be denied. It is
Well, that's
what
the
it
thing.
is.
But I don't mind anybody asking me questions. I can only tell you what I know, right?
Right.
But I just don't like people like to try and add to stuff or say it's this, it's that, it's that, it's that, it's that. Well, I'm not going to say it's this, that, and other, right? If I don't know, I don't know. I can only show you what I find, like I like to say.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Neil was saying it's part of folklore out there. So
Well,
I
the
guess
thing
that,
is, the folklore, right?
mhm.
You're saying about the folklore and all the rest of it. This has been back for thousands of years, and it's in our culture, it's in our blood, it's in everything. It's like when I grew up in Scotland, we're taught all these stuff. The long winters last for like 6 months. Cold, dreary, dark, right? All these stories you get told, right? And you imagine they were getting told with their grandparents and their grandparents, and it goes all the way back, right? There's some truth to it all. There's truth to it all, right? In some sort of way, right? We can all connect all around the world, right? With our folklores, legends, right? Our history, right? There's some truth to it all. It's all connected. We were all connected. This is one big continent at one time. Do you know that?
Wow.
So people say, "Oh, dogmen can only be in the USA." Not true.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, exactly.
Anybody that tells you they know everything about it, not true. Anybody that thinks they're an expert, not true. Because if they were an expert, why we not showed? Why we not got everything on it? Why we not got documentaries? Why we not all got saying a dog man saying hello to everybody walking along the street holding their hand? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What are these? Neil is mentioning famous big black cat sightings in England.
Aye, well, that's been going on here since thing me. There is black cat. Well, not just black cats. There is cats and probably lynxes here. We have wiped out our natural predators, right? We wiped them all out. Bears, wolves, big cats, all the rest of it, right? But then some escaped. Obviously, people had them in zoos, pets, traveling circuses, all the years, right? Might have been a wild population that survived. Do you know that?
So he's talking about actual black cats or panthers or something.
Yes, we've got them.
Yeah. Okay.
The proof of that, I know. It's like places in Scotland you used to go when I was younger, right? To Ullapool and stuff like that. It used to be sheep's heads lying about, right? Things with its throat. Only a cat could do that. Besides it.
Maggie M. 10 is talking about rainbow lorikeets. I want to see what that is. Look that up. Rainbow.
I want the gold at the end of the rainbow, the leprechaun.
Yeah, we had oh, okay. Wow, they're like almost like parrots. Yeah. They are parrots.
Do you see what I think, right? In our cultures, right? We've so lost our nature, right? We're so used to this safe society in our houses and everything, right? We've lost that primal fear that we used to have. That fear is what learns you and gives you the knowledge, right? And learns you the lessons of life, right? And we've lost it.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see here. Did that come up? Yeah, okay. A rainbow lorikeet.
Oh, nice. I want one. Do they speak?
Do they speak, Maggie?
If they do, Maggie, right, I'll teach it to say to everybody that comes to my door, fuck off.
Oh, okay. These are in Australia. Okay, yeah. Rainbow lorikeet is a species of parrot found in Australia along the eastern seaboard. Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And hello, everybody in chat. Sorry, I can't see the messages. I'm a complete noob. I'm not used to this. I've never done anything like this before. So I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. And as I like to say, oh, yeah.
Exactly. No, they're saying They've been chiming in with you the whole time. They've been, man, agreeing with,
I don't know how to
with
see the
everything you're
message.
saying.
I don't know how to see the message because I'm on a stupid phone. I need to sort
Oh,
my laptop out.
yeah, because you would see them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not used to doing all this stuff. I'll make it up as I go.
Yeah, if you are, do you have your phone in portrait mode or landscape mode? I think you can
I've got
turn.
that sitting straight up because every time I muck about with it, it starts going all funny or it goes thing me. So just keep it how it is. When I jump in the
Uh,
stream, that's how it is.
okay. Yeah, I think if you turn it sideways, then it gives you a different view. Because I've
Yes, but
come
then
on from my phone before,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
they're
Like I
just
say,
chiming in with you. They're just agreeing with a lot of stuff you're saying here.
I hope you're not
And
disagreeing with me. I'm trying to speak the truth. Please don't
no,
hate me.
they loving it. They're loving it. They're loving it. Yeah, please, they're loving it, man. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I do want to say no bullshit to anybody, right? I just want to say how I feel and the facts of the matter, right? If you don't like it, it's not my problem.
Yeah, it says. Let me see. You get them in the garden now.
Anyway, I thought Derek Galloway was going to come in here and speak.
Never.
Ah, chicken.
Yeah,
Chicken.
I
I'm
mean,
going to
come
eat your
on.
chicken.
That's Derek. Oh my gosh, Derek. Yeah, he's turned. I don't know. I got to get with Derek. I got his number, so I'm gonna call that dude to text him. Like, dude, come on the line, dude. Okay, what is your voice? Just let it. Okay, something wrong with your
Well,
voice? I mean, it's okay. Don't worry about
if
it.
I could do it, yeah. Remember, I'm new to all this. I've never done nothing like this before. If I could do it, anybody could do it.
And
You
you
got a
can't
voice, use it.
exactly. Yeah, and it's getting cold out here where I live, so I'm getting it cold and all that, and it's changing my voice a little bit. So you just got to get through it, man. Just got to do it. Get on here and
Oh, yeah.
talk.
I couldn't care if I was on my deathbed now. I'm speaking up, right? Because you know what? There's a message to be told, and we all need to
Yes.
be aware of what's going on in the world right now, right? And if you think you're safe, well, you keep believing that sweet dream, because one day the dream becomes reality.
Yeah. I mean, and then you know when you have people that resonate with what you say, and that means you're saying the right things, and yeah, you have to continue to say those things. So yeah, you get lend your voice. And that's the thing. I mean, we do a lot of that in the chat with typing, but when you to hear your voice is definitely different as far
That's
as
why I
how it
had to
comes
come in.
across. Exactly.
That's why I had to come in and speak to people and start speaking on my channel, because before I used to put music with all my stuff, right?
Hmm.
That's why I had to do it, because people kept saying, "Why are you not speaking?" And even messaging, right? You can't even get over a message, right? You can't portray the way
Yes.
your thoughts and your feelings are and your passion for it, right?
Exactly. Night and day. Night and day. I'm sure you saw the difference immediately.
Well, I've noticed that everybody interacts with me and takes me a lot more serious now,
Hmm.
and
Exactly.
sees what I'm all about, right? I see what everybody else is about or not, because I watch, I support, I go around and support lots of people. I've forgotten, I've forgotten who I am. Everybody else takes up more time than I do for myself.
Yeah, we got to hear Magneticus. We got to hear Maggie. We got to hear Amy WC. Surprise. We got to hear Susie B.
Oh yeah.
Waiting on Black Dragon. Waiting on Tomato Man. Justin Himminson. And let's see. There's a few. I mean, I know they'll come around. I know they'll come around. Everybody has a part to play. Let me see who
Yeah.
else.
Susie will like this one, right?
Let's see.
Is she still here?
Yeah, she said. Oh, it says LOL. Tomorrow went to bed. Ah, man. Yep. So, LOL, right? Is what she said.
Oh yeah. No, because I say that a lot. See, when I'm in deep thought, right? There you go. I'm saying it right there. When I'm in deep thought, that's a word that I use subconsciously, right? I always say that right word.
Yeah. It's part of you. It's part of you. It's you. It's part of you. That's all good.
Yes, but
Because
in real life, I don't say that. I mean, apart from on here, right? When I'm in deep thought, in real everyday conversation, I never say right because
oh,
I'm not right. I'm wrong.
no, you. I haven't heard you say anything wrong at this point. Period. I mean, everything you said has been on point, which is the lovely thing, because it adds to the conversation, and it's like real information that people need to hear. So it's like, this video will sit and live, and it'll have everything that you gave on it. And so whoever listens to it, they're gonna get that dose, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. You gave a lot of great insight and information here tonight, and I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, I
And
appreciate all you too.
and yeah, I mean, this is like I said, this is just a real place where you can do exactly that, exactly what you just did. And I know that being free and real and open with your thoughts and your feelings will resonate with other people and make other people want to do the same thing. So
See,
we'll give it time. It'll grow into a thing.
you get it. But see what you just said, yeah, you get it. That's why I speak up, right? Because I think, right, there are too much people getting kept in the background, getting suppressed, right?
Yes.
Well, like me, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. I couldn't care, right? If you think I'm the worst person in the whole entire world, that's your problem, right? Simple, right? Yeah, I'll always
Exactly.
be kind to others and all that, right? But you start on me, I'll give you something you've never had before. You get told.
Justin Hemmison is asking a question, saying, "Hello, English friends. Do you know anything about the genetic experiments at Cannock Chase in England?
No,
They
but that's not
created a
far
pig
from me.
man."
That's not far from me, right? But I don't know nothing about that because I'm just new to all this, right? I've heard stories about it, but I know nothing about all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, Justin's saying they created a pig man, which is wild.
Uh, it would surprise me because they were cloning sheep in the 30s in Scotland, right? At a little farm, not
Yeah,
far from the Highlands where I was, right? So if they were doing that for the 30s, could you imagine what they're doing now?
yeah. So exactly. Oh, they're close. They're about to bring the mammoth back. They're trying to bring the
Well,
wood.
do you not know about China? Your dog dies now, you send them a hair sample, right? Boom. You can get that genetic copy of that dog.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Or
they'll
a
never
human,
ever
right?
be it'll never ever be the same. Because you have to be, right, as you've been there, right, say you're the host, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're you. You've went through all these scenarios in life, the birth all the way up to the day you die. That will never ever be the same.
Right, right. And it doesn't translate to this clone exactly.
And then if you start playing God, right, where does that end? And then if the clones, well, there's another thing you got to think about. What happens if the clones think of us as inferior and think we don't need sex, right, to be just right? We'll just clone. Bye bye humanity.
Yikes. That's
Think
deep.
about it that way.
Yeah. Ooh. That's
I'm
deep. That's
just,
deep.
I'm just saying that I don't know nothing about that stuff. I'm just saying that with my own thoughts. If people
Yeah.
disagree or anything like that, but I'm
No,
just saying.
they're doing that though. They are. They're altering the genetic code to weed out flaws in the genetics, and they're not supposed to be cloning humans, but we know that they probably have. We know they probably have already. They've done all sorts of wild stuff, illegal stuff,
uh,
stuff immoral, unethical stuff. So we know they've probably done that.
Look at our food. Look what we eat in our food. All the stuff,
Exactly.
right? What you eat in your food, that changes your genetics. That changes everything
Exactly.
about you.
Oh yeah, the
What they put in your water.
chickens. Yeah, yeah, they plump up those chickens and turkeys for
Well,
Thanksgiving, and yeah.
and think
Yeah.
about what they're putting. Think about everybody's gone on about all this infrasound and all that. We've got radio waves. We've got all this going through us 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Yes.
week, right? Think about what's happening to us.
Oh yeah. Here's what I said. I've said this before. Like we're like the first or second generation, technically first when you talk about real heavy cellular use to hold these things up to our heads and live within these 5G, 4G waves, walking through all this Wi-Fi and all this. So we won't know the results of that probably for another 10, 20 years, but it may turn out that, man, you guys are just torturing yourself. Like really, like who knows what people will pop up with from all this
Has anybody
penetration.
asked themselves, ever since they've done this 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, right? A million G, right? Have you noticed all the brain cancers, right, have happened, right? Selected population near mass, near certain areas, near built up areas and everything, right? They're all getting all these brain cancers, right? And yet it never
Hmm.
gets talked about.
Yeah. It's a thing I wonder about. It's a thing that I think is we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn the effects of this. I mean, they say they aren't doses enough to affect you, but just like you said, when you're walking around literally in an endless ocean of invisible waves, radio waves, who knows what the results. You just have to wait for time, and that's how you get experimented on as a population. And we know
Mhm.
they've done that before because we have lots of examples of times they just tried some stuff and experimented on the public just to see what would happen. And
Yep.
we may find that out here soon. It can't be good, put it
Well,
like
think
that.
about it. Go on, right, here, I'll put a challenge to anybody. Spend a week away from your phone, right? Then go back to your phone, right, and watch how much your sore head you get, right, and your eyes hurt, and the way it affects you, right?
Mm,
It affects you in so many different ways, right? Then you've got the addiction part of having your phone, having something in your hand, right? Could you stay away for a week without your phone,
yeah.
right? You've got all that psychological, mental, whatever they're doing to us through the phones.
Yeah. That I love that. I love that. I might, man, in this day and age, who there's probably no one who has actually gone a considerable amount of time without having a device in their hand. I don't have multiple devices, so I already know I'm pretty screwed as far as that goes
But
because
but you know
I
what?
stay with technology.
But you know, as technology keeps you glued. It used to be the TV. It used to be the radio,
Yep.
right? It used to be people going to like concerts and going to shows, right, and carnivals and everything, right? That used to
Yep.
be what it is, right? Or mass meeting places, right, once a year and everything, right? It keeps you glued. It keeps you indoctrinated. It keeps you involved in the system. You know, people like to admit I'm free and all the rest of it. You're involved in it. Even doing this, you're involved in it, right?
Exactly. And that's what that's what a lot of people say. The fact that that's the case, that we have these advanced tools in our hands, those are the first stages of us, becoming AI, or kind of stepping
Yeah.
into the AI.
I'm worried. I'm worried about that, right? Because what I could do in that phone is something else, right? And I'm not trained. I'm just self-taught and stuff, right?
Hmm.
If you imagine the ones that are in power, right? That all they know, they've been taught this their whole life, they've been trained for it, right? What they could do.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you can sit here with the human being 30 years ago. If you ask them a list of questions, they would have to go research that information and come back to you later. Whereas now, you can answer it on the spot.
And that's scary because that's where all the information can get manipulated, right? And this is where the narratives come in, right? With all the agencies, the governments, all the rest of it, right? And just because you read it doesn't mean to say it's real. Just because, right? If I was to put a fact, I am the King of Scotland, right? Bow to me, right? Does that mean it's real?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
That's why you always question everything, right? Even if you think you know, question it, right? Because you could have been taught something that's complete opposite of what the actual thing is.
I'll tell you the thing that scares me really are those, and maybe I'll show those tomorrow, but those robot dogs, right? That they have Boston Dynamics, the
Yes.
robot dogs, and then the humans, or the humanoid robots, the ones they can push over and they get back up or they stumble. So
Well,
imagine those connected to Wi-Fi with
well,
the information of all of the world in at their fingertips, and the ability to come to your house using GPS, with the ability and fitted with some sort of weapons or things like that. That would be a nightmare. An army of those things, and that's is realistic because we already have them. Like, they're
well,
built.
I'm not being funny, right? No, we could get access to all that right now, right? You imagine
Yeah.
a terrorist getting a hold of your tech, right? And using what that knows about us, right? And sending it back on our soils, right?
Oh
Think
yeah.
it like think it like a chucky doll, right?
Right.
You take
Exactly.
the technology from one country, you take it to another, you manipulate it, send it back to that country, you sell it cheaper, you get it everywhere, then you plan your attack, then you execute it.
Well, well, we just watched the first stages of that with the right here in Ukraine, in Russia, with the using the drones, right, for warfare.
Drones have been gone for here. Drones have been out a lot longer than what people think, right? It's only because
Yeah.
it's been passed in, right, to us, right? Drones have been used for a long time. See, a lot of the UAPs that people say they've been drones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just nobody knew how to explain them, right? Something in recent times, right? We know about it all, right? But before, and now they're silent. A drone can be silent now. They never used to be.
Right. Right. And you're talking about the quadcopter drones, right?
Yeah, all these
Yeah.
things have been gone way before, right? Here, they've been experimenting in aircraft, right, for all the wars, right, all the way back. They've constantly done it, right? Yeah, and they've made all these stealth bombers. They've made all the things that's, what do you call it? It's immune to radar. It's immune to the human hearing. They've done all that stuff, right? So if they've done all that and shown that, right, how much more advanced are they in that? Everything you see now is nothing, right? That's like 19 dot dot. That's nothing compared to what they've got now.
Yeah, definitely. It's just scary. It's just scary because if you're weaponizing quadcopter drones, flying them in the war zones, and they're dropping grenades and those sorts of things, we're only a moment away. I mean, in as far as in public, because I'm sure that they've already taken some of those dog robots and secretly have tried some things with them, arm them and different things like that. I'm sure they've done that already behind the scenes.
Well, the
So
thing is, Robocop, it's true.
yeah,
Robocop,
exactly.
it's true
There you
right now.
go.
We could have
There you go.
Robocop right now, right? And
There you
people,
go.
they see it. And there you go, like Elon Musk with his Neuralink. We could do that right now, right?
There you
Think
go.
about it. If you start having all that, right, what else could you do, right? And what was that movie, right, with Pierce Brosnan, right? And all the rest of it. Was it Lawnmower Man? When he
Yeah.
puts his consciousness into the computer
Yes.
system, right? And he's everywhere, right? Well, think about it. It takes one madman, right, to figure out how to do it, right? Game over.
Definitely. Susie B, take care. She's saying, you all take care. We'll see you later today somewhere. See you. Amy WC, Magneticus, Rob G, The Dog Man UK, Black
Have a
Dragon,
good
Justin
night, Susie
Henderson.
B.
Anyone I
And you're
miss,
right,
sleep well.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we're about to wrap it up here, too. So we're all good to go. We'll be doing this again, obviously, every day after hours. So, period.
Well,
Win,
thank
lose,
you
or
very
draw.
much. Thank you very much for letting me come on and everything. The only reason I come on because
Oh,
you speak sense. You don't do all that bullshit, right? I can't stand all that bullshit and that manipulation, right? And that brainwashing, right? And these people stand
yes.
up and say things, the true reality, right? And then see things for what they really are, right? Not for what we've been taught, right? And made to believe, right? We need voices to stand up, right? And question everything, right? And tell the truth, right? And tell the true facts. And that's why
Exactly.
I like you, sir.
Exactly. And I'm glad and I appreciate that because that's the intent. So if that's how it comes across, that's exactly
Well, you
what's
never ask
supposed to be
yourself.
coming across.
You never ask yourself, do you think I would come in and speak in here, right, if I never heard your truth?
Exactly. Exactly. And I salute you for that, sir, because like I said, I mean, I read you in the chat, but to hear you is a totally different thing. So when I get to hear you, and I just love hearing the message that you're bringing as well. So I love it. I love
I'm not just an AI dog, man. Release me, please, right?
it.
I've been indoctrinated into this world. I don't want to be here. Free me.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. We've done 4 hours, 8 minutes out. By the time I do my outro, it'll be close to that.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, chat. And I hope you all have a blessed day, right? And guess what? Don't be fooled and don't be brainwashed, right?
That's
Question it
right.
all, right?
What do you say? Oh, yeah.
And I was just getting to that part, right? And I'll give you a double. Oh, yeah.
All right, dog, man. Appreciate you. We'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure. Let's do this again.
I'll pop in every now and again, right? Because you know what? If I hear something that's important, right,
Yeah.
and nobody else is stepping up and everything, right, I might just do an appearance.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. So the link is always in the chat. You got the number here as well. So we'll do it, and I'm gonna binge watch your content, and we'll get into that as well.
Well, thank you. Well, you get a wee bit of more understanding, right? You see where I first started from, right, to where I am now, right? You see the change, right? And
Oh yeah, and
you'll
the same
see
thing.
this is why I try and get it across to people, right? I'm just an everyday normal guy. I just so happened to bump into someone that I shouldn't have, right? And it's changed. It's changed me. Changed my thinking. It's changed my whole being. It's changed who I am as a person, right? But for the better.
Exactly, because you're preaching the right stuff. So love it. Keep doing that, and yeah, we'll go ahead and keep pushing that message to everyone.
On that note, I should bid you farewell, sir. I'll jump back in the chat. What you do, your leaving message, and thank you very much. And I'm thankful for what you're doing. I'm thankful for the community, right? These are all good people, right? And I'll give you a triple. Oh, yeah.
Love it. All right, dog, man. Appreciate it.
Au revoir.
Take care. All right. So my camera's died, so I'm just gonna bring up the logo here for the social dig, guys. You know how we do it. You know how we get up out of here. So fun stuff. Time always flies for me. I mean, if you think about it, 4 hours is for 4 hours to go by like that is pretty wild. So definitely great conversation. Love it when Dog Man comes through. And let's go ahead and get ready to get this thing going. Yeah. So I only end the show one way, and obviously that's with the positive progression of humanity. That's why we do this. That's why we get together and have these type of conversations to brainstorm and move the needle, because it's going to take people like us to get these things done. You know what I mean? People like Dog Man. You know, people like myself, people like Magneticus, Susie B, Maggie M10, everybody who joined in, Black Dragon, everybody, Eugene, Area 51, everybody, takes everybody, Justin Hemison, it takes us all, man, it really does. Totally glad that you guys came and hung out and talked about the things that we talked about. It's only the beginning, a lot more deep conversations to have, a lot more interesting things to do. We will be doing that. And obviously, you know, you can catch the show after hours, Spaced Out Radio. Who do we have? We have, let me check actually. I want to tell you who we have. We had Chris tonight, and we have Michael. Let me see. We have yikes. Okay. Michael W. Hall, paranormal lawyer, which is going to be crazy. UFO reporting and much more tomorrow or later today, really, at Spaced Out Radio after hours. We'll be doing some weird and strange news. And then obviously I'll be filling in for Dave Scott on Monday with Belinda Leslie in the building, talking about some My Lab stuff. So I'm going to have her bring me up to speed on that stuff too. So once again, pleasure hanging out with you guys. I want to thank you so much for coming through, spending time. If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let us know you care. Maybe even leave a comment. Talk about what you took away from the show. Outside of that, my name is Mr. Rob G. This is the Social Dig. And I want to thank you guys for coming out. I'm going to let the music drop before we go. Just like that. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great day wherever you're at. Good morning, good night. Talk to you later.